Hi, I'm Tom Savini.
Hi, this is Doug Bradley.
I'm Nick Castle.
Hi, it's Kane Hodder.
Hey, this is PJ Souls.
I'm Dick Weond.
I'm John Franklin.
This is Courtney Gaines.
I'm Tom Atkins. Thrill me.
Hi, this is Danielle Harris.
Hi, this is James Dude Courtney.
You're watching.
You are totally watching.
You are watching.
Tune in or tune out to Death Curse Society.
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 Death Curse Society. If you don't keep watching, I will come and do things to you.
I will tear your soul apart.
You'll love it.
Don't fucking listen. I don't care.
Listen outside.
Just in the middle of a dream. I was kissing Valentino by a crystal blue Italian stream. But I can't be late, cause then I guess I just won't get paid. These are the days when you wish your bed was already made. It's just another manic Monday. It was Sunday, 'cause that's my fun day. I don't have to run day. It's just another manic Monday. I wish it was Sunday, 'cause that's my fun day. It's just another manic Monday.
Here we go again, folks. It is another Monday Maniacs from Death Curse Society coming to you live. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you're having a lovely day. I'm here with Zigzag, the Colonel. I'm Red Crank, of course. What is up, gents?
Colonel, are you drinking the Lions Kool-Aid down there?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm drinking the Lions Kool-Aid because it's purple. It'd be more like Vikings Kool-Aid. But, dude, I'll tell you, man. Detroit's such an easy team to fucking cheer for, dude. I'm fucking hyped for you. I'm excited.
I'm excited too, brother.
It's fun, man. We're enjoying it. I'm not saying shit. Just we're all banged up, but everybody's banged up. But it's the future's looking promising for this season. If things go well here the next couple weeks, we could be looking at top seed in the NFC. What the Lions?
No, that can't be,
dude. It's all
that
right now. It's a 5-way tie for the number 1 seed.
See, you're gonna fuck it up, man. Don't start with that.
Dude, remember when he fucked it up for the Bengals? They're gonna do it this year, Colonel. I'm telling you. I'm feeling good.
You notice I haven't said anything like that about the Lions. I won't.
Colonel, glad you're back. We missed you last week.
I missed you guys too. Sorry about that. Just
although
it has fucking fried, man. My brain is still fried, but I've recovered enough. So I actually slept for a fucking day.
I have to admit, though, that show is doing pretty damn well. That's one of our highest watched shows of, the first week or so. So maybe we're on to something.
Nah, I don't think so.
No, fuck no. We're glad to have you back, buddy.
Absolutely. Good to see you, man. Let's see who all's in the room so far.
I mean, dude,
got a bunch. What are you doing?
Reading this fucking book.
How is it?
If you are a fan of Halloween 3 and you just wondered if they were thinking, what the fuck? No Michael Myers. There it is. Look at this. Tommy Lee Wallace, director, with a nice forward from Tom Atkins. Halloween 3, where the hell is Michael Myers? And there's stories, and yes, they were thinking this is never going to fucking work while they were making it.
Mm.
It's great. I can't wait. Pictures in it, but I mean, it's so good. it's just one of those things, man. It puts you on the set while this crazy shit's going on, while they're making this movie. It's just so good. A fucking wonderful companion to the panel we just dropped on, you guys. Things are actually like it's right there, man. Like stories that kind of we got pieces of, they're in there.
I'm just glad it's a picture book so Zach can actually fucking read it.
It's a lot of the pictures are at the end, man. Just a couple of pages worth, but it's a great read, dude. I'm totally digging it. We got to get this guy on here and talk to him.
Oh, I know it.
Yeah.
FaZe, can you find a Amazon link for that book and post it in the comments, please?
Yes.
Looks like Bill's here. Patricia's in the house. BK's here. God damn it, BK.
BK.
Who are these fucking clowns? You know who these fucking clowns are. You've had us in your home, sir.
I know.
Right, you know.
Dr. Smiley is there. We got St. John's, Michigan. Jason in the house. What's up? Yeah, that's why it's down, Patricia. It is extra flowy this evening. It looked good. So
we got to say congrats to the St. John's Jason, though. Award-winning St. John's Jason. He went to his competition and won for his Jason costume.
That last week, didn't we?
Yeah, that was last week. Did we mention it?
Yeah, I thought we did.
I don't know. I remember.
Nice. You got to mention it twice. There you go.
Yeah, hey, it's cool, man. Congrats, bro.
Brian's here. Welcome, Brian. Of course, Rick from the whole damn enchilada pod is here. Yep, and he says he has to get that book. Yeah,
you have to.
I need to get that book. I should have gotten one while I was there. And Smiley won an award too recently for when he was up in Colorado. Yeah, we did mention it. You weren't paying attention. We did mention it though. I do remember talking about it.
One of the other 10 things, and then we didn't have Colonel going. I thought we went right to the interview. That's the thing.
Well, this was a couple weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
which was also an interview.
Yeah, but I think Bill and Gina also gifted Dr. Smiley with a lovely wreath recently.
Did you see that fucking thing?
That thing is beautiful, dude. That is awesome, man. I swear to God, I am going to redo my set fairly soon. I warned my neighbors a couple days ago, like I'm going to be drilling and hammering and stuff. So be aware. I'll try to let you know the day I actually do it, but I have to get the wreath up. I have to get my Amy Steele autographed Angelo painting up. I've got a Welcome to Twin Peaks sign I have to get up. I've got that Twin Peaks art that I got from Angelo I have to get up.
I have to wait.
The wall's going to be completely different soon.
Till we're back from our voyages before I can get that thing stretched now. So I'm waiting.
We do have one more trip that we cannot talk about yet.
Not yet.
Probably next week though. I would make sure that we can get an announcement done in the next week or so.
Kind of how it went down. It was a few weeks out,
Yeah. So. But so. And all right, so that's everybody that's in the room, it looks like.
What's that?
Let's go ahead and thank our members before we move on to the business at hand. Thank you, of course, to our final girls and guys, Chris, Lorena, and Tyrone, our Crazy Ralphs, Rick and Raymond, and our camp counselors, 42nd Street Pete, Corey, Luke, Michigan Dave, S. Michael, Stacy Lynn, Orlando, Patricia, and JJ. Thank you, guys. And of course, as always, thanks to our associate producer, C. FaZe, who is hiding in the bowels of the studio. There he is. What is up, FaZe?
What is up?
Did you get a chance to see The Exorcist Believer or Never Hike Alone 2 this week?
No, and surprisingly, no.
Don't fuck him, man. Get him out.
Yeah.
No. If the answer is no twice, then yeah, he's got to go. Now, I was actually going to ask him a couple of questions, but no, that's fine.
Bring him back.
Well, what kept you from doing that?
I've been swamped, just busy. I really wanted to get Never Hike Alone 2 watched before the stream, but just couldn't get it done.
Fair enough. Well, I hate to say it, but there will be spoilers, so
yes,
it's all good. There were spoilers in the messenger chat this morning, so I mean,
oh, were there?
A little bit.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, yeah, that was that was my bad, I guess.
Oh, right, because
Yep.
a little bit.
Well, you said you were going to watch it last night, so I thought maybe you had gotten
I
a
was,
chance
and I
to
pretty much zonked immediately, and then I had too much shit to do today. I got home at like 6:30. It's like, well, got 30 minutes to watch the whole movie. Not happening.
Not happening today. Well,
Nope.
You got any big plans this week? He knew it was coming. He even knew it was coming. He didn't even. He started to say something, then he was like,
pretty soon he'll stop drawing that breath to speak too before it hits him. He'd be like, motherfucker.
All right. Yep, we got to move on to the
Like,
business
I'll
at
do it
hand.
myself and just
I'm tired of you assholes making fun of me. It ain't working today. It ain't doing it. So, all right. First up, gang, there were a couple of movies that have come out the last couple of days. Well, last week or so, I guess. The Exorcist Believer dropped in theaters on October 6th and has been thrilling audiences since then, except for the ones that were going to see Taylor Swift's movie. But we're also going to, later on tonight, we're going to split the show up a little bit. We're going to talk about The Exorcist Believer and give it our full review. And then later on, we will be talking about Never Hike Alone 2 from Womp Stomp Films and Vincent DiSanti, which you can watch for free on YouTube. So go and check that out. FaZe, also, if you would get that link and post it in the comments, I would appreciate it.
be sure to click it yourself.
All right. So, The Exorcist Believer. Let's get started with that. When two girls disappear into the woods and return 3 days later with no memory of what happened to them, the father of one girl seeks out Chris McNeil, who's been forever altered by what happened to her daughter 50 years ago. Colonel, since you were gone last week, I'll start with you. What were your expectations going into this film?
My expectations, let's see here, directed by David Gordon Green, written by David Gordon Green, and of course Danny McBride was attached to the title. Again, Blumhouse. Dude, my expectations are low as fuck. Okay? Like, it was bad. Like, literally, when you were reading the synopsis, I would have been happy if you would have stopped at Two Girls in One Cup. I probably would have rather watched that again than watching this. I was dreading it. Fucking dreading it. Everybody knows. I was like, I gotta see this stupid fucking movie. I don't want to see this fucking movie. And yeah, so I seen it. The good news is, since we're covering it a little bit later than usual, there was 3 people in the theater, including me.
There were 10 plus me. So
I'd say a dozen, 15 a dozen.
Yep.
Jesus Christ, ain't shit going on in Michigan or fucking Oklahoma, huh?
Yeah, not much, no.
What night was that too? That was like a
mine was
Wednesday or something.
Mine was last night, actually, Sunday night. Yeah. All right, Ziggy, what about you? Expectations going into the film?
Expectations, abso-fucking-lutely. I mean, nothing, dude. Nothing.
Done. Very well done.
And I same as Colonel. I was just like, damn it. Gotta go see this fucking movie. I can't believe it. I want to go fucking see this fucking guy already done ruined. And I said all the things that people have been fucking saying unfairly without seeing it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I went and saw it. And the impressions going in couldn't have been any lower. Couldn't have been any lower.
Pretty much the same. I'm of the opinion that, some of these classic films, The Exorcist being one of them, the sequels never really did much justice to them and really didn't connect that well to the originals anyway. So I was never too impressed with most of them, 3 being the rare exception, but it's
more moments, I think, of that movie. It's, it actually did some things that were like, God damn, make you kind of take a step back because it's that disturbing, I mean,
not to mention one of the best jump scares in fucking horror history, man.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly.
It has to be right there.
Yeah. But yeah, low expectations. So go ahead, Ziggy. Sorry.
No, I just saying about 3.
No.
Still, that's the closest one that comes to disturbing that touches like that first one, a little bit, and it's not even the same type of fucking disturbing, but nothing has come close.
Well, and then first impressions leaving the theater, Ziggy.
this is where I lose everybody, man. I didn't think this is as awful as everybody's saying, man. It starts off pretty strong, actually, and it loses its goddamn way 100%. It absolutely falls off. But I mean, dude, it is got some good jump scares in the front, and it's got some disturbing imagery and shit that it's I was like, okay, you got me so far. Now fucking let's keep going with it. And they do not. They do not. They lose it. Big time.
Okay.
But the ending, though, too, is something we'll talk about too later. Yeah. And
Colonel, how about you? Impressions leaving the theater.
Impressions leaving the theater. I had a few. I had quite a few. I was telling you guys before we went on the air. I walked out like, I don't know my fucking score for this movie. I really don't. I don't think that's a good thing when I walk out of the theater like, where am I at on this one? And then a couple other thoughts came across my mind. Christianity Avengers Assemble! And I thought of a new joke. I hope I don't want to offend anybody with this one, but
boy.
A Catholic, a Baptist, and a Pentecostal walk into a house. And I just haven't figured out the punchline yet. That's exactly what I thought.
Okay.
You almost gave a rim shot just on the setup.
There you go. All right. First impressions for me. When I watch, I got to go back a little bit. When I watched Halloween Kills, I left the theater thinking I could never be more upset about the direction of a film took a beloved character or franchise as I did when I saw that one. A year later, I was proven wrong, though, because Halloween Ends, I was even more pissed off about for vastly different reasons. And now David Gordon Green just deserves an award because he's done it again 3 times in a row now. I actually muttered Jesus Christ angrily in the theater as the credits started to roll, which got an approving chuckle from the few audience members that were already leaving. Man, the film just misses the mark of what made The Exorcist the classic that it is today, and immediately explains why classics should be left alone in most cases. There are exceptions. This movie didn't need to be made, and it didn't need to be attached to Exorcist.
My point.
You could pull the character. Oh, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
I didn't
jump
think.
in.
I thought you were finished. That was your topping point. But
I had a couple more thoughts, but go ahead, jump in.
I just want to say, if you can somehow disconnect it and don't expect to be shocked like you were with the original, you can pull something out of this, man.
I tried.
I deny your statements.
I disagree wholeheartedly, but I see what I tried to do that and it did not work. For example, you could pull the entire character of Chris McNeil out of this, rewrite the script a bit, and it could be a decent original flick, much like I felt about Halloween Ends, a decent original idea that didn't deserve to be grounded in the Halloween canon. This film does not deserve to be grounded in the Exorcist canon the way it is.
Now, you won't say sequels pending because obviously it sets some things up.
Well, we know sequels are pending. Like they already came out and said it's gonna be a fucking.
I understand, but particularly for this, because it could be something awesome.
I was kind of reserving that topic for later, but
yes,
I'll say it. I don't think we're gonna get a sequel to this.
The fact that he backed right the fuck out after opening weekend, even though
first off, the movie alone cost $30 million to make, not counting the $400 million licensing rights that they paid to Morgan Creek to be able to get the Exorcist name.
FaZe, can you get us a box office? Current
is 45 million. Well, domestically, I think it's like 80 worldwide. And the opening weekend was 27. That is a huge shit in the basket. Here, I'll fix it for everybody. I'll fix it for Blumhouse. Save $400 million, take the Exorcist name off of it, and boom, call it Believer, and you got a movie. You don't even have to change much of the marketing.
But it does directly take some things. I'll ham-handedly, I'll give you. It still is connected to that first movie that way.
I just
fucking barely, dude. You're like literally, it's connected by a fucking thread.
Oh, it's a dumb connection, Colonel. I'm not going to deny that, but it's still there, and it's you can't. It's there, so nobody will miss it. It has been 50 years, you know.
Yeah, no one would miss the connection.
Correct.
And some people, I would say half the audience, maybe more, probably hadn't even seen the first Exorcist. They were young people.
I can't believe I'm arguing for this fucking movie.
I can't either.
What the hell, man? I know it's not a great movie. It's not. I'm not. It's my score will tell you this, but I'm just saying. I expected a 0, and it's not a 0, man. It's not. It's. I think about how Halloween 2018, we all kind of walked out going, all right. But now repeated viewings did it no service. I'm sure this is probably the same path with Exorcist Believer here, but
I disagree because I still kind of like 2018's Halloween. There are a few things about it I don't like. The Dr. Sartain thing is blah, 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 you know. But this one, there's not, besides the first like 40 minutes, there's nothing I like about this movie. And that 40 minutes felt like a completely different fucking movie.
Yeah, there is definitely a chemistry problem here more than anything, for sure.
Really? More than anything? A chemistry problem?
Yeah.
There's a storyline.
A storyline chemistry problem, yes. Absolutely, and it's a shame. But again, I have to believe they're going to come with the next movie. I think they're done deals. I think they're going to crank them out regardless of what happens with this. I think it's when they paid that fucking money, they were like, well, it's going to get done because we're going to try to get back what we can. And that all hinges hugely on what we might get with that.
I have a feeling that pre-production on that is in major rewrites right now.
No, I fucking hope so, man. Let's just I can't give anything away. I was going to say another thought I had walking out of the theater was 50 years later, this is it. Like, obviously, I'll go into more details. We talk about the movie more. But I would not be defending this movie as well as you are, Zach. I'm sorry. Now, I may not hate it as much as Crank, just telling how he's going. Yeah. So I guess I'm going to be the fucking middleman on this one. But, dude, this movie is not defendable as much as you're defending it. It is not.
Look, I'm for hire, by the way, Blumhouse marketing team. I just saved you literally $400 million. I turned your flop of a movie into a profitable thing with a little bit of Photoshop in 5 minutes. So, boom. Thank you. Send me my fucking check.
Well, why didn't you do that for Child's Play?
I couldn't think of a better name for Child's Play at the time. Boy's best friend. Never mind. There you go.
I pretty much watched that whole. That was on.
That took 3 seconds.
That was on while I was playing cards the other night on Fear Fest, and I, sat through it again and kind of went, yeah. That's what Megan, that's what Megan they wanted. That's what they were shooting for, and they did that instead.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Child's Play.
Yeah.
Just before we move on, Zag, this is me fucking poking the stick at you a little bit more. It's way more defendable than Believer. Way fucking more.
Let me go back to the real poster.
Things about it. I think the performance, Mark Hamill's performance, is pretty good. I like that. Yeah.
Like we talked about, though, Ziggy, you mentioned liking the first act of the film, as I did in a way.
Yeah.
Describe what you liked about the story, the build-up, the tension, and then where they lost you along the way.
I mean, I'll tell you personally, the abduction, the anxiety I was feeling when they were searching for the kids, man, that was driving me goddamn nuts, So I just, I have a kid the same age, so it totally worked if that's what they tried to do. But when they found them, they obviously weren't right. They think they were gone just a few hours. They were gone 3 days. And then, obvious visual results of what's going on is happening, but the demon's taking a new strategy this time, as it were. So I think that's all great. I think it works, and it depends where they fucking go with it, man. If it goes anywhere.
I agree. In some ways, I agree. It does depend on where it goes, but this is not a good beginning.
It's so deliberate what happens and who walks out. That's why I'm saying that it's not a stupid fucking movie. If it goes, it could go really cool. This could get better. It could honestly get better. It really could. I think if they do it the right way here, and that major thing at the end there is involved. So
it could, but they could have done it. We'll get to it.
I've seen so many of these fucking movies, as you guys, man. I mean, and I agree, this isn't a great fucking movie at all, but it's not the bottom of the shoe dog shit everybody's saying it is. It just isn't.
It's pretty close, but we'll get. Hey, you do have one defender. Rick says, I liked it a lot, actually.
Yeah, he's a Browns fan. His opinion doesn't matter.
Oh, Jesus.
God damn.
I expected to hate it. I honestly, I wanted to hate it. I love shitting on Green here after the Halloween thing, especially for the kills. But I mean, as we go here, I gotta say, I expected crap, total shit, and less, and it gave me something to think about.
All right. Colonel, did you like that, the way they did the backstory and the setup, the first act? And I
did find the first act entertaining. I don't know about you guys, but I did get a little bit of excitement at the fact they started off with two dogs fighting. I was like,
I didn't, because that pissed me off. And that put me in a bad mood immediately, because that was the first damn shot of the film, was the two dogs fighting like the first one.
Yeah, that's your connection. There's your thread. But then see, that pissed you off. What pissed me off was, and then I'll start talking about the question. I'll get back to the question. Was that, man, I was like, for Haiti, that's a little bit economically better off than I would expect. But that's time for another. You guys know how I complain about fucking realism in fucking movies. I was like, okay. But anyway, no, the first act, I'm totally with Zag. I know he says a kid of that age. Well, I have a daughter that age. And this is what they do. So as like a father, that was pretty intense. That was really fucking intense. And we all know as kids, we've all tried some stupid shit like that before. And here's the thing. You try some stupid shit. You play stupid games. You win stupid fucking prizes. And they sure as fuck won a stupid fucking prize. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the intensity was there, the first act. It was there. And, just the parents arguing, well, I don't know your daughter. Well, who's your daughter? Just the back and forth. It was really grounded in reality, which that part I did like, the interaction between the parents. And like Zach said, they show up and fucking 3 days later, they're getting checked out. Everything's fine. They're acting weird. I'm like, okay, here we go. And Samuel Jackson says, hold on to your butts.
There you go. Yeah.
But you really didn't have to after that.
Dude, the finger and toenail trauma was pretty rough too, man. That shit was. I always hate that.
Yeah. Look, I appreciate the backstory and even the twist reveal at the end concerning the backstory, but it seemed to be a stretch just to match up in a modern way with the opening of the original Exorcist. And then again, they missed the mark completely. The original opening is meant to be kind of a foreshadowing of what Father Merrin would inevitably encounter in the film's finale. This was only here to quickly explain the main character's situation. And it also made the first act of the movie, like I said, feel completely detached from the rest of it. I mean, did you get the feeling of two separate movies in that area?
Oh, well, most definitely. But I don't think the gap was as wide for me as it was for you.
Okay.
Like it was there. Like I get what you're saying. I'm not going to argue with it. I get it. But like Zach, I kind of did appreciate the first act.
I did too.
Dude, they totally had me. They had me sized up. All right, man. I was like, "Yep, bring on course number 2," and then we fell off the fucking bridge, man.
We never saw the waiter again.
That's not how you do it.
Exactly. We fell off the bridge. The bridge was never fucking there. You just had the on ramp.
I Indiana Jones it, dude. I believed and I fell. You know what I'm saying? I just went right over the fucking edge. But I mean, that's not how you do a legacy piece like this. I mean, when you have access to those kind of characters, you rushed it through, and she was out of it just like that. She's neutralized. Again, this could play into a later part of the story.
Maybe
it has to. It has to. So if it doesn't, then this is going to be one of the worst, if not a bigger train wreck than what Halloween is now perceived to be with those 3 he did. So,
all right. I don't know what this means. Bill says, "Hey, Crank are flashing the demon." I don't know what that means.
Arc flashing, like welding, like.
No, I think it's.
I see shit sometimes too when that weld shit goes, dude. Stuff in front of your eyes looks like demons. Yeah, man.
Okay.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I don't know.
Something wrong with you guys. I don't know what the hell's going on here. I'll hit this one. S. Michael says, "I'm going there. I would like David Gordon Green to stay the hell away from Friday the 13th. No interest in his directing style. Everything peaks. Halloween 2018 was his." See, that's the bad thing, though, about this, because, we didn't mind Halloween 2018. Not bad. Not a bad start to a trilogy. And then Kills took a step down. Ends took a step down for me. If this is as high as it gets for this trilogy, then we're scraping the sludge by the time we get to the next movie.
You said it, though. Halloween Ends. If it's some kind of a separate movie, not connected to this universe, probably a pretty interesting original take on something.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's
Wasn't
not how
an original interesting take, though, because I'm pretty sure I've seen almost that same storyline in 1985. With I think you guys know where I'm going with this one.
I don't. Right.
Friday the 13th, Part 5, to an extent.
Yeah, it wasn't the stupid power exchange. You know what I mean? That's what really fucking threw me off, man. Was that shit? The passing of the evil. That
would have been fine if they set that up in Kills.
You don't fine with it?
If they were setting up for it, yeah, I think I would have been fine with it by the time it was all said and done.
If they introduced Corey in 2018 or Kills, completely different ballgame, man.
That's hard to do that, to introduce a new character like that, give him a whole fucking backstory for 48 minutes, and then, okay, here we go now.
Well, it's also hard to have your Michael Myers trilogy not be a fucking Michael Myers trilogy. That's the fucking problem with it, dude. Like, why are you going to wait till your third? That's like fucking introducing fucking Yoda and fucking Return of the Jedi and having him fucking die. Like, come on, it didn't set nothing up. Like, it was fucking there. There's no setup to it.
There's going to be a lot of comparisons to the Halloween trilogy with this film because it's same director, same creative team, same production studios, basically. So just, bear with us here. But yeah.
I don't know. I felt like they were more at home in this realm here for some reason, especially in that first 40 minutes.
Yeah. Dr. Smiley says, "Wait, that's what happened at the end of The Exorcist? Crank, you ass. I haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it in 50 years, man, that's your own fucking fault. I can't help you there. There's no spoiler alert for that. Sorry."
Yeah.
And even if you haven't seen it, I know you have, though. Even if you haven't seen it,
shame on you.
Shame on you. I don't know what else to say about that.
Go right now and go watch the thing, okay?
No, wait an hour and a half, and then
True,
so,
yeah.
And then they're still talking about seeing shit. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going
on. All right. Colonel, how did you feel about the look of the movie? Did it embody what you expected from an Exorcist Legacy sequel 50 years later?
No, it looked like you're just your standard run-of-the-mill fucking horror film. It really did. Like that's the problem with this movie. Nothing stood out. If that makes sense. Like I just feel like I was just watching another fucking Blumhouse movie. At least with the Halloween trilogy, something stood out. This it just didn't. Like I don't want to jump ahead. I want to stay on the fucking questions. But it's like even the Tubular Bells remix didn't really stand out because I just never really noticed Tubular Bells a whole lot. So I was really like, I don't think I've heard it. And I was really listening, like, oh yeah, I fucking heard it, but it was bland like fucking everything else, man.
It was like a slow build version of it. That's why it's kind of neat. Well, that's kind of neat. I did appreciate that. But it's not enough to save it. It's not enough to save it.
Yeah, like I said, it's just, I'm sorry. I wish I could say something popped out. It really didn't. Nothing really did. Like, even the fucking makeup was...
The effects were pretty good.
The effects on one girl was pretty good. The other one was not. Like, even the special effects, like, oh my... They just look so fucking bad. When we get to it, I have a new Paul Bunyan statue comparison. Very minor, but it stuck out like a sore fucking thumb for me. And that's all I could think about for like 10 minutes.
Look, I feel like David Gordon Green is a technically proficient director. He checks all the right boxes when it comes to the practical aspects of filmmaking. Honestly, and this isn't necessarily an insult, it's going to sound like one, he would make a great teacher at a film school. The problem with his films most of the time that I've noticed is artistically, they are such far departures from what makes the genre interesting to me. He's trying too hard to be different from his previous contemporaries, and he falls flat on his face artistically. And that's one of the issues I have with this movie. Ziggy, did you like the look of the film?
I did, but you know what? You guys are absolutely right. Nothing stands out.
No.
There's no style that you would go, Green, that's him. It's nothing like that. But
you have that with the greats, Carpenter, Craven.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and even some of these newer guys like Savage. I mean,
Savage, Flanagan,
your boy. For sure.
There's that name.
There it is. For God's sake, man.
I gotta go change my shorts now.
Yeah, but he's right. Yes, Flanagan. Oh, I said it again. Fuck. But this guy. Films, that's brilliant. Actually, the film school take, I like that because
thank you.
Technically, he's perfect, but
the camera's in focus. Way to go, Dave.
Yeah, it's white balanced and the lights lit properly. The set looks good,
dude. I mean, I'm with Crank. It's like when he makes his movies, especially this one in particular. It's like he's reading how to make a movie for dummies. Like he's really just, okay, I got this, I got this, I got this, I got this. Like it just seems like it's such a basic fucking movie.
I want to know his grades in film school. I really would love to get a copy of his transcript and just see what his professor said.
Probably a 4.0 because he's so fucking textbook. He was afraid to make a fucking.
Dude, he was making like those comedies and like Pineapple Express and shit. That was where he made his bones and everything.
William Peter Blatty was a comedy writer and wrote The Exorcist.
Touche.
You can't you can't bring he was a comedy filmmaker. Yeah, no. Bullshit. You can't bring that
I tried, man. I'm exhausted of defense here. Now you must face the music, I guess.
We broke his spirits, Crank.
We're not.
I think we've changed his mind. Fucking high five, baby.
We haven't even got to the fucking third act yet, and
we haven't gotten anywhere.
We haven't got to the second act, dude.
I'm out of arguments.
Dude, here's my thing. In essence, The Exorcist Believer is just another example of what happens when you hand the keys to a popular and even important franchise to the wrong person. In my opinion, based on the Halloween trilogy and this, no one should ever give David Gordon Green a horror franchise again. In fact, I think they should take away the Exorcist keys for the remaining two films if they even get a chance to make them, because according to some reporting, they might be And if they even risk dumping more money into this announced trilogy after the epic failure at the box office, perhaps somebody could come along and salvage what has been laid out in this first film, but I really doubt it. I don't see them making 2 more movies after this.
Like I said, once they drop it,
I see Blumhouse making 2. I see them sticking with the trilogy.
Do you?
I do.
What do you expect to happen?
May go down. But
what do you expect? Okay, that's what I'm asking. What do you expect to happen behind the scenes then? The budget to go down? Do you think
budget go down? I think they're going to rewrite the story. We'll agree with Zag. I don't think it's left open for a trilogy, but there's something there they could play with to continue the story. I just ask they don't go fucking. God, I hate to be a nerd and mention fucking Star Wars again. I hope they don't go, the new route with The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker and just totally make shit. Don't go the Disney route. I think there is something salvageable here.
Make another character a Jedi, if you will.
Don't get me started. I'm going to fucking joke.
All right. We need to talk about the acting a little bit. Or Ziggy, do you think, where do you think this is going? Do you think they're going to finish the trilogy?
100%, dude. This is when they bought $400 million worth. You get goddamn bet your ass this shit is getting made for no other reason, a tax write-off to get some of it back. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Plus, they're going to also Blair in that Blumhouse opening. Because it started with Michael and zoom out. It's going to be like, and then it's going to zoom out.
Should be plunging the crucifix in. Fuck me. Yeah, dude. That's how I feel when I see a Blumhouse movie now. Fuck me.
Yep. Oh, geez.
So, do you expect Ellen Burstyn to stick around for the entire trilogy? Because I do not. Here's the thing. She's either just going to flat turn him down or break the contract, or B, she's going to die.
She's going to have to break the contract.
She's going to be 91 years old at the end of this year. So
true. And it's not expected to even start shooting until next year sometime. But I do think they're all under contract. Everybody involved, they have to break it if they want to get out of it. But I do think they are already contracted to the 3 movies. So yes, she will be back pending life.
Okay. Let me read this to you, because Ellen Burstyn actually negotiated the biggest payday that she has ever received for any film, and then some for this movie. In August of 2022, she told The Hollywood Reporter, quote, what happened was I've turned down many versions of The Exorcist 2. I've said no every time. This time, they offered me a whole bunch of money, and I still said no. And then they surprised me. They came back and said, we doubled the offer. I said, okay, let me think about this. That was a lot of money. Let me think about it. She says, the next thought that came to mind was, I feel like the devil is asking my price. And then the next thought that came to my mind was, my price is a scholarship program for talented students at our master's degree program at Pace University. That's my price. So I went back and upped their offer and ended up getting what I want. And I've got a scholarship for young actors now. Isn't that great? She negotiated double the biggest payday she's ever gotten in her entire career. That's been at more than 50 fucking years. Plus, got a scholarship program seated for Pace University. So,
what if that's all pending on her completing the 2 films, though?
I don't know.
I highly doubt that. Based on her age, I highly doubt that. And this seems like, just breaking it down that way, to me, this is a one and done for her.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm thinking. I don't think she's locked into all 3.
The only way that's okay is if it proceeds how it ends.
All right, we'll see.
That's it.
We'll see.
I don't know if we're mentioning it, but I'll be honest. She really didn't Chris McNeil did not really add much to the story for me.
We're gonna get to that pretty soon, actually. But we need to talk about the acting first, which I thought was pretty solid throughout.
Yeah.
Leslie Odom Jr. did a fine job carrying this film, basically, as well as the 2 girls for the most part. They were no Linda fucking Blair.
No.
50 years ago,
No.
though. Not by a long shot.
They didn't have to go through the same ringer, though, either, at least in
Right.
this one.
The weak spot for me was the opposing Christian family, played by Jennifer Nettles, yes, from the country group Sugarland, and Norbert Leo Butz, a 2-time Tony Award-winning actor. They were weak fucking sauce. Ziggy, what were your thoughts on the acting?
It's the two that, were probably the weakest, but I think they did enough to deliver because you were supposed to not like them for obvious reasons once the story plays out, who they reveal themselves to be.
It wasn't necessarily that I didn't like them as characters. It was just like the guy kicks a trash can in the police station, and that's his fit of rage over his child being gone. It didn't play. His acting did not play well to me.
Yeah, it wasn't very deep. It wasn't very deep at all. It was just if anybody, she's a musical artist too. So I mean, she's not an actress.
Well, he's a musical theater artist too,
so. Right? So he should be, pretty good at live drama like that. So yeah, I mean, they're not great. They are not great in it, but I mean, you do feel for those kids. I did anyway.
Well, my point with the kids is
they were good.
In the original, you have 12-year-old Linda Blair playing Reagan, and it is far more believable, convincing, and sincere a performance. This, it's just kind of like, it's like they were told, okay, now act like weird.
And they hired, I'm sure, let's hear you scream, because they got a couple of pretty good screams, and they're terrified.
That just, dude, I'm sorry. I just love the Crank fucking nailed it with those little girls. They're like, okay, act weird. Because sometimes I felt like I feel like they just watched a fucking Billie Eilish video. I was like, I'm gonna act like her.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like you're trying
I don't know, man. I almost feel like it's nitpicky though, because they're supposed to be that way. The demon's fucking looking at him through those eyes,
Watch The Exorcist again, and you will see there's not much of a descent for the actors in Believer, the two girls. There's not much of a descent. It's just kind of like it's like in a step. Instead, it's such a beautiful progression down, and you can see the smoothness of Linda Blair's performance. Now, granted, a lot of that was because I don't fucking know why, but she trusted William Friedkin. And Friedkin, being the fucking freak that he was as a director, at least to the adults, was pretty fucking cool to Linda Blair most of the time. And man, Ellen Burstyn is still injured from what happened to her on The Exorcist, 50 years ago. So, Colonel, what about you? Anything acting standouts?
Well,
shit.
You know how they say you learn something new every day? I couldn't name one Sugarland song. I sure as fuck couldn't name one of the members of Sugarland, but now I can. So thank you, Crank.
Jennifer Nettles.
I'm still going to forget her name. I don't know. Dude, the acting was on par. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It was good enough to get me through the movie. Yes, I think the girls felt a little coached throughout the entire movie. And you're right, that couple were probably the weakest links of the actors, but I'm not going to shit on them like you did. They technically did their job.
They were weak sauce. That's all I'm saying.
They were, but they did their fucking job because we all know people like them, or at least cross paths with people like them in the past, and they hit their fucking marks. Like I said, they were on. It was on par. I mean, I really have no complaints, but no praise either. It's just they did well enough to keep me engaged.
Okay. Without getting into too many spoilers, and Colonel, since you wanted to talk about it, I'll bring it to you first. We have to talk about the underutilized return of Ellen Burstyn as Chris McNeil. For me, this was a lot more similar to like Sally Hardesty's return in the Netflix Texas Chainsaw reboot that they did last year, I believe.
Very good.
Where she was barely needed at all. How did you feel about her return, and was it necessary for this film?
I felt it was almost. I'm with you. I kind of felt like it wasn't needed. It honestly, she didn't bring a whole lot to the table. And I don't know about you guys, but I had a hard time believing that that's the path Chris McNeil would have taken.
Exactly.
Like this is not the Chris McNeil I knew in fucking 1973.
Right.
It just felt forced. Like, okay, we need to put her in the story somehow. How are we going to do it? All right, we're going to do it this way. And then she's so underutilized that, and then it's like, okay, if she did take this path in life, she would have been smarter than that. It just did not feel good.
Is there a particular line that you're thinking of that Chris McNeil in 2023 would not have said after the events of 1973's The Exorcist?
I feel like I might have been missing something here because no particular lines are sticking out. As soon as you say this, I'm going to be like, you're fucking right.
Ziggy, would you like to jump on that before I move on?
No, go ahead and say it.
All right. There was one particular line delivered by Chris McNeil. She's talking to Victor about what happened to her 50 years ago with Reagan, and she mentioned she didn't even witness the actual exorcism. She then blames it on the patriarchy, which seemed like such a forced, woke bullshit line to be included in the script, and completely insults the sacrifices that Father Marin, who died, and Father Karras, who fucking died at the end of the fucking movie, did to save her daughter. It's a complete slap in the face of the whole legacy of The Exorcist, and proves to me that David Gordon Green or the remaining team of screenwriters, including Danny McBride, Scott Teems, and Peter Sattler, are not very good students of the art of film. They missed the whole point and took this character in a completely different direction than what would organically occur after the original Exorcist. Now, do you see where I was going with that, Colonel?
I do. Yeah, now that you mentioned, like, that line did stick out to me, but I didn't give it as much thought as you did. I'm just like, here we go. Like,
here we go.
When that happened in the movie, that was when I didn't care if the angels above came down from the theater and started sucking my dick during the rest of this movie. I was going to hate my experience in this theater. That was the moment. I was just like, that ruins it. That entirely just pisses on the original movie and that character. I'll calm down. I'll calm down a little bit. I'm sorry, neighbors. I warned you.
Yeah.
I warned them there would be some yelling tonight.
I did think both priests were kind of disserviced in this story, this part of it, you know. But yeah, when they did that, I immediately went, oh, okay, here's the social part. Yeah, they're going to work this into it. So it came in, and I pushed it right the fuck out and moved on with it. You know, I wasn't going to let it. Yeah, I mean, if that's the road they want to take with it, right? There's gonna be a lot more people like you, I think, than like me trying to defend it a little bit.
Breathe, Frank. Doctor's orders.
Yep. Doctor says I need to breathe, but thank you. Yeah, and you made me really German there.
Hey, Crank. The Krankenstein.
Crank all right. So touch on McNeil's appearance and Bernstein's performance.
I mean, I think she was in there, and again, she is a 91-year-old woman.
She will be 91. She's 90 now. Her birthday is, I think, December 7th.
Don't fucking sugarcoat it. Don't be fucking ageist here.
I was hoping for a little more, but I don't think after what she went through, she would have marched right in to the
spoilers. Like I said, just
okay. Yeah.
Are you getting into them?
Well, I just kind of no. I mean,
not yet.
Not yet. was just not very afraid after what she saw before. We can say that, and I was glad to see her. It was nice to see her and stuff, and hearing her kind of relate to that time back then. But then, yeah, it sucked when she got into just kind of discrediting what they were trying to do.
If you want to see her, watch Law and Order, Organized Crime. She plays Stabler's mom, and she's great in that. So, watch that.
I get it, but this is a character, dude. This is this is 50 years later. This is one, this is like this is one you want to see and you're rooting for, and she's kind of, I think, done a disservice. Really, they kind of do cast her aside quite quickly.
All right. Christopher has a good point. If the writers would spend half the time creating something original instead of ruining the good name of classics, we may have something there. And that's what I'm saying. If they just took the fucking Exorcist name off this, took McNeil out of it, took a few other things out of it, rewrote it slightly, it would be a pretty decent original flick. Same as Halloween Ends. And I'll stand by that until I'm fucking dead.
That's the hill we're going to die on. Huh?
That's the hill I'm dying on. Lorena wants to know, you really think it's a good idea to mess with our minds, guys?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about, man?
I don't know.
Phase, is there something wrong with it? Are we fucking all lagging? Because we are. Zigzag is the one hosting the internet.
Yeah, what phase?
Am I too loud? Is that what's going on?
Back here?
I mean, I've got the hockey match.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right.
Face here, too. Is that face?
Yeah, you got faces all over the place, man.
They're fucking all behind me, too. Like, shit.
Yeah.
I look at fucking Flyboy over here. He looks like he's having a hell of a fucking time.
All right. Since I mentioned the screenwriting team, which is mostly the same from Halloween Kills, were you positively or negatively impacted by any of the choices of the script? One thing that I noticed, to me, the script doesn't trust its audience to fully understand their magnum opus. They have to overly explain certain aspects of the story, such as the girls being missing for 3 days, without letting the audience correlate that to Jesus' rising from the grave after 3 days of being crucified. They have to verbally explain it with a character. Colonel, negative or positive impacts of the script?
You know what? It probably was a positive impact on the script for the people who had never seen The Exorcist before. So you probably, as a father of the younger generation, sometimes you have to write this shit out in fucking crayon for people to understand. Your older audience, I would have gotten the references. I didn't need you to spell it out.
Right.
I mean, without going into details about my life, I mean, I do understand the reason why we celebrate Easter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. I know there's more to it than just bunnies and eggs. But it just, I wouldn't say negative. I just think a lot of horror films nowadays over-explain things because people are just fucking stupid. I don't say it. Not the people watching, but, I just think that's what people expect. No one wants to read between the lines anymore. It's like, just tell me how it is. Like, fill me in. That's just
that's what I love.
All horror movies do it, man.
That's what I love about movies, though. The ones that don't do that really register with me a whole lot more. I love figuring out the little, backstories just with a look from a character instead of being like, oh, by the way, I fucked his brother back in 92. I don't need shit told to me like that. So, what are these guys talking about? Hold on. We'll get back to the movie here in a second. You guys give great face. Sparty says, no, it's a looking face that comes on the screen they are probably talking about. BK says, you guys are very cool. There's no question about that, but you're lousy actors. And Bill says, agreed, BK. I don't know what's going on here, man. But
fucking actor. And this is secret 100, like the kids say nowadays. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't act.
I disagree that I'm a lousy actor.
No, he's terrible.
No, go fuck yourself.
But he's
no, I'm really fucking good, dude. You haven't seen my best work yet. Ziggy, positive or negative aspects of the script?
I mean, it's exactly that. They just the negative points, they ruin it when all that is added to it. They kind of leave you at a spot too where I don't even know, man. We need a sequel. That's all. That's really the only thing I can see going with this is we gotta see it play out because it's almost like Star Wars back in the day. You saw Star Wars, you needed the Empire Strikes Back. That one left you on a big ass cliffhanger, and then we got it all worked out with the Ewoks and all that good shit, and everybody was happy. I think we need to see more of this story before we can really, really finally give the full verdict to Believer.
I have a feeling my score is going to go down every time a new movie of this comes out. So, all right, Colonel, you started the show with this. You recently referred to the climax of the film as Christianity Avengers, which tracks. Did that part of the story bother you as much as it did me? Because the writers seem to treat the differences in religion as some kind of woke point instead of, or rather than having the most elementary understanding of these religious aspects. They just threw in a few people that were dressed differently and carrying different props. Go ahead. And is this the point where we need to do our spoiler alert?
I believe so.
All right. So, Ziggy?
Yeah.
All right. Spoiler alert, folks. We're trying some new elements here. So, we got a spoiler alert for you. We're moving on to Exorcist Believer Spoiler Edition. So, go right ahead, Ziggy. Or go right ahead, Colonel.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ, did this ever take me out of the fucking movie? Like, this was the dumbest fucking shit. This is where I'm like, okay, I'm fucking like literally done here. Like, I'm watching this fucking movie and I literally said out loud, Christianity Avengers, assemble! Because it's like, this is what it fucking is. We all believe differently, but we have to come together. I was going to say something, but I'm going to stop. I'll say it off. This is not going to taste. But, dude, it was just so fucking bad. It annoyed the shit out of me, okay? Yes, okay. Every religion, every culture has an exorcism.
Yes.
Ritual. I understand that. Okay? But you're telling me all these people are going to work together to save these girls, especially with the fucking voodoo queen. Come on.
And I'm so glad she had an accent too. Like, hey man, I'm here to save your child. Hey, I'm so glad.
There's no way a fucking Baptist preacher in Georgia is going to fucking go along with this, or even a Pentecostal teacher. Okay, maybe I'm not giving the South enough fucking credit.
No, you're giving them exactly enough credit.
Yeah, just no fucking way. It just come the fuck on. And to me, she was the best one out of the fucking bunch. She knew her fucking shit compared to the other ones, man. It was fucking awful. Then we had to tie in the backstory to the fucking nurse that was the neighbor.
That was another social commentary. That was another social commentary that just got like ram-fisted into you, just like Dr. Smiley did with Ziggy in New Mexico.
Yeah, dude, it's just like literally, it was like, okay, how can we make this different? The Catholic thing's been done before. Dude, you know how disappointed I was there wasn't some guy in the background dancing with fucking snakes. I'm like, we almost had everybody.
That's in part 2.
I fucking hope so, man. The fucking serpent handlers. That's the Aquaman of the Christian fucking Avengers. I know it's 2 different comic books. I don't give a fuck. It was the fucking Hawkeye of the fucking Christianity Avengers, those fucking snake handlers. It just totally took me out of the fucking movie, man. And it took way too long.
Uh-huh.
Way too fucking long.
You're onto something with the religion, though, brother, because let's go back to 1974 and dude, that it was religion was much, much, much bigger and more prominent than it ever was now. And I think that's the thing why they tried to just feed it to you like that, you know,
and feed it.
Yeah. Okay. You know, so because it's just not the same as it was.
Okay. Sidebar, Your Honor. I would like to take this out of the Exorcist Believer portion for a moment. I've literally been thinking about some kind of essay, or because I thought about that too. You know, the fact in 1973, Christianity was 80, probably 90% of the United States.
Yeah.
You know, now, could we say 40?
That's higher than that.
Yeah.
You think 50?
I just seen a news article on it. I think it's at 60% now.
60?
Or it's going to drop below 50% by like 2050 or something like that.
Okay, so 60% still. We've lost a third of Christian believers as population, film goers, whatever you want to say, in 50 years. That is a huge effect on how The Exorcist is looked at in current times. When we talk about, it's the scariest movie ever made. Or, when reviewers talk about it, scariest movie ever made. Won't ever be touched. It's because that's a big part of it, I think, is the Christian faith is just not as strong as it used to be. I'm not saying anything negative about.
No, we're not saying anything
individuals.
Any belief system people have.
No, I'm not saying anything about individuals, but as a group, it's just taken a hit. And I think that can be seen, and it is explored a little bit in Believer, but 100%. Badly. It's explored badly. Anyway,
you got me there.
I think Sesame Street would have done a better job explaining it.
There's nothing to defend there, man. I rest my case on that. I got nothing to say.
All right, you guys are talking.
It was a very, very stumbly, stupid, you know what I mean? Just born calf stumbling around trying to explain the story. It just doesn't work.
No, and before we change topics or go any further, I just want to mention my Paul Bunyan reference here.
Mm-hmm.
For one, the two things. I thought it was funny that they had to have smoke fight demon farts in the fucking sky and the fucking air by the lamp. That was funny. So
and again, they had to explain it with someone's piece of dialogue. Oh, the smell changed, or the odor got worse, or however it worked.
I knew it was a fucking demon fart. Like, I fucking knew this. You didn't need to tell me. That and the terrible CGI for the fire in the fucking fireplace.
Or the smoke.
Yeah.
Later.
Yeah. Fucking awful.
Get the fuck out.
Almost.
Of here. Anyway.
Yeah.
Rick agrees with you, Colonel. Ain't no way the Catholics working with those other religions.
Right.
Lorena says, Crank, that looked like an experienced fist. I'm you're someone's mother. I'm not even going to touch that. So I can't go there. I can't go there. Rick did mention something. They did bring up snake handlers. Yes. Dr. Smiley says he learned from me. Oh my God. I can't. Okay. I don't. Yeah. I can't touch on any of the rest of these. I don't think. Where was I? Yeah. The whole religious different groups, it was just a forced social commentary again that, in these days and in this day and age, all religions are valid. But if they had delved a little bit to get under that surface just a little bit more and have some reason behind it or some meaning behind it, I would have been a lot more forgiving of that. But it was another failure.
Ton more meaning in the original about it. That's
exactly
all the gravity is Catholic religion.
Right. Exactly.
Well, and also, you have in the original, you have a priest fighting with his beliefs. Like, do I even still fucking believe anymore? In this, so you don't have that.
And you have an atheist actress that exhausts every fucking possibility with the doctors and everything, and then finally is convinced to go to the Catholics. So, it played so much better then. And it did not this time. All right. Okay, finally, we have to talk about the ending, which could have been an original take on an exorcism, but it was handled so badly, rushed, forced, that it almost seemed like an afterthought or maybe a rewrite, a last-minute rewrite. I don't know. The heartbeats being in sync and the choice the parents were made or were forced to make could have really upped the ante for this and the characters. But it was such a brief part of the finale that it had zero weight. Like the whole exorcism took about a half hour rather than seeming like hours or days like in the original film. Colonel, or no, Ziggy this time. Start with Ziggy. What did you like and dislike about the ending?
Yeah, the actual exorcism part is, I love the concept because the demon, frankly, makes the parents choose, you know? I mean, that's the difference here. It's not just going right for Reagan, taking her out, and I'm taking her, and once I got her, she's mine. Now there's two, and he's just saying, one of them's got to go with me, and you guys are going to fucking choose. So it's a different game. I like that. I think that's smart.
I did too.
Yeah.
But it was so...
But it lacks the intensity. The possession is way more interesting and intense. It lands flat. It sucked.
And also because there's a clear favorite of the kids. You know, there's an obvious favorite. The other child, Catherine, doesn't even have a last fucking name. None of her family, their last name is never mentioned. So, Colonel, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Are you still on the subject, Zach? Or can
You're good, man. Go ahead. I spit it out, I think, mostly.
Dude, I'm with you guys. I did like the option from choice, but obviously everybody knows demons are tricksters. So obviously the one we want to save is going to be the one that fucking dies. But dude, I just thought that scene was too fucking long with very little payoff.
Right.
And like another big complaint about this film is, in the original, you mentioned it earlier, Crank, you get that descent.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like, here they're here, the next full-blown exorcism. Demons got a lot fucking weaker in 50 fucking years. Like, you didn't have any of that, something's fucking serious here. It was just like, boom, there you go. Like, there's no fucking build-up to these possessions. And I fucking hated that. Fucking hated it. So I think that really affected me on the end here of my liking of it. I'm like, here we go. I'm going to drag this shit out because you didn't have any of that good shit leading up to it. It's just, and like I said, the Christian Avengers didn't even fucking, technically they fucking failed. So I guess I do kind of like that part of it. They combined all the rings and fucking, it didn't work.
Right.
It really didn't fucking work.
Right.
Well, that's what I think. I don't think this was going to be that draining, just punishing exorcism that we got in the original. I think that's coming now that we're narrowed down to one.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the ending. And I'm going to do this again.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert. Because this is probably the best part of the movie. But for me, it came too little, too fucking late. What about that final cameo, Colonel? This seemed like the only reason they wanted to make this fucking movie. And it was a 30-second scene. Again, it could have been a powerful gut punch and landed solidly, but it was so badly mishandled, I couldn't care less by the time it happened.
Dude, it was so fucking bad. Like, I'm with you. I really had no reaction. I was like, oh, again, we're always spoiler alerting you guys. I want to warn you. Oh, there's Reagan. The demon lied. She didn't die. Go figure. It's just a real quiet little, hi, Mom, I'm here. That's it. That's fucking it. Now, if you would substitute a Chris McNeil with fucking Reagan in that role, and a more prominent role, you got a fucking movie here. You have an Exorcist movie, I think. Still going to be maybe rewritten, but you have a fucking Exorcist movie. So literally, it's just Linda Blair saying, all right, I need something going for my fucking foster dogs, my rescue. Sure, I'll come on your fucking movie for one day.
I guarantee you, Ellen Burstyn called when Linda Blair probably got the offer. She probably called and was just like, "Hey, don't accept anything until you get something for your dog charity."
Yeah, that's what it fucking felt like, dude. It felt it was not satisfying. The only thing I can compare it to is probably how like huge fans of The Craft felt when First of All was at the end of the fucking remake.
That's
right. Whatever. Yeah. At the very end, just like a split fucking second. I was just kind of like, that's it. That's what I fucking get. At least with the Candyman, hearing Tony Todd's voice got me fucking excited. I was like, oh yeah.
Right.
This was just like, I don't, at this point, why should I fucking care? I don't give two shits and a fuck after watching this fucking movie.
Right. Yeah. And yes, for those of you that are trying to figure it out, yes, Linda Blair does make an appearance at the end of this movie for about 8.5 seconds. So, Ziggy, what was that impact? How did that impact you?
Well, I liked it, man. I went like, okay. I mean, it actually gave me hope. That's what made me go, okay. Something's happening here. Now, hopefully they got this shit signed and sealed, and that's what's going to happen. She's going to step in now with her contact with this fucking demon and shit. So I just hope, man. It's all we can hope for. That's all we can hope for. It just gave me hope that this could get something better. We could get a better sequel than what this was. And if this was just a setup, a launch pad, I get it.
Okay, let me throw this in. What if they went ahead and contacted Chris McNeil like they did for beginning of the second act of this movie, or midway through the second act of this movie, but then Linda Blair makes an appearance at the actual exorcism at the end? Would that have made it a little bit better?
Yes.
No?
Would have been intense. It would have been a fucking banger, man. That would have been another gut punch. Like,
I don't know if the guy is still alive, but I thought it would have been awesome if her and Father Dyer showed up from the first one. Dead. I think he's dead. I think all of them are dead. Yeah. Except for Ellen Burstyn and Linda Blair. But
the only thing that died was their careers.
Yeah.
Fucking an asshole.
But yeah, so sorry. We got the spoiler alert on the damn screen. So yeah, Linda Blair does make an appearance, and I assume Linda Blair and perhaps Ellen Burstyn are going to be a bigger part of the planned sequels. Maybe not Ellen, if they even come to fruition. But for you, Ziggy, will that be too little, too late, or are you hinging the quality of this series on what they do with that in the future?
After this one, because again, I gave it fucking 0.0 of a chance to be anything, and they got beyond that for me. So I'm interested to see where it goes from here. I want to see a more intense exorcism. I want to see, more demon shenanigans that's horrible, and you can almost smell the shit, I want some heavy shit, man. Try to gross me out. Do something. I'm challenging you guys. Do something.
Again, some of the effects were pretty good. The makeup on the girl's not great. And a lot of it being digital was crap, especially if you look back at the original and it's all fucking practical.
So.
That's why practical can't be fucking beaten.
No, and I kind of went through and already checked all those boxes expecting that shit, though. So I wasn't looking for that. I was like, yep, I already knew it was going to be like that. So I'm okay with it.
All right. James is here. He says, yes, I'm with Ziggy on that. Fair enough.
Right.
Colonel, what about you? Are you waiting to see what they do, or have you already kind of made up your mind about this movie and series?
If David Gordon Green didn't come out and say, I'm out, my mind would have already been made up. I'm kind of Zach. That gives me a little bit of hope they can right the ship. I know we're going to fucking review it, so it doesn't matter if I'm done or not. Not really, because I'm going to have to see the fucking movie. There's still hopes. Like I'm with Zag. I was bitching that we did not get that descent, the full demonic possession like we did in the original.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe they didn't do that because the younger generation watches The Exorcist now. They don't have the same reaction the three of us did when we first seen it. they think it's just funny. I mean, I think it's funny now too. But as a kid, the first time I seen it, that shit was fucking terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
To me, there was nothing terrifying in this movie other than, holy shit, I can't find my fucking kid. That was the most terrifying thing of the fucking movie.
Right.
There was a couple of subtle flashes too, like they were kind of throwing that stuff around, and then they stopped. They totally stopped with it, man.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they had one.
Didn't even look good. I was like,
they had one good one in the beginning, the one that was like right behind the dad, or like right after they find the kids. That was a good one. And a lot of people, you could miss it if you're not paying attention.
It's a
I was watching an Exorcist movie. I knew to pay the fucking attention. I knew something was going to flash on the fucking screen.
Of course, anytime you talk about The Exorcist, something's going to flash on the fucking screen. That should be a given. Rick says, part 2, Reagan fights the demon. At the end, is possessed herself. And part 3, they deal with that.
I love it.
The titles are this one, Believer. The next one, Deceiver. And then the third one, Redeemer. So
Jesus.
That almost leads me to believe that the track is, even if Linda Blair is in this next one, she might not quite be clean.
She might not be who she says she is.
That's kind of where I'm leaning.
I'm like, hey, where'd you get fucking wings and a snake dick? Like, where'd that come from?
And luckily, they're going to have Bob Marley sounding voodoo doctor to come and help them out. Hey, I don't know. Anyway, final thoughts and ranking. Colonel, I'll start with you.
Final thoughts. Fuck, man. Yeah, I was not looking forward to this. And you know what? If you're not a member of our Facebook group, please join, because tomorrow I'm going to post a Catholic, a Pentecostal, and a Baptist walk into a house. I want to get some good punchlines on this, fucking folks. I think there's something here. Because that was literally my final thought. I led with it. I'm going to end with it. Like I said, just nothing popped out. Even Tubular Bells couldn't save it. Chris McNeil couldn't save it. Reagan couldn't fucking save it. The priests and the preachers couldn't fucking save it. It just was infuriating, man. I wanted something better, and I was expecting shit, and that's pretty much what I got. I told these guys before we went on air, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to score this. I knew this conversation was going to pretty much give me my fucking score. I've been sleeping on this and thinking about it since Saturday. Crank makes some really good fucking points.
Thank you.
But I'm also with Zag. I mean, it's a movie. I mean, there's dialogue. There's fucking sound design. And all the boxes are fucking marked.
I said that.
Yeah, well, I'm the same with Zag too. Like, I wouldn't say, I don't know. I didn't read any reviews. I knew people said they didn't like it. I didn't read why.
Right.
Because I didn't want anybody to influence my thoughts going into this movie.
Same.
Overall, fuck, it wasn't good, but I've seen worse. I think I'm going to give it a 4.
All right. How about you, Ziggy?
Same, man. I did not want to see it. I was actually dreading it. You know, like sometimes you're like, okay, you know, eat some popcorn and stuff. I'm good. I went to this. I got my popcorn. Actually ate it on an empty stomach, so I actually had an Exorcist vomit after the movie. So for authenticity, it was great.
See, when I ate that movie theater popcorn on an empty stomach, I always got a shit right after the movie.
Oh, dude. I mean, it was just, it was too much butter, you know. But again, the first 40 minutes of this, wow, really did something, you know. I mean, it was actually telling a pretty kind of a moody tale. I dug it. And then the social commentary fucked it all up. And it ends with a thud. But then they give you, finally, Linda Blair shows up just for a grip. You know, mom got her eyes fucking poked out. We never actually mentioned that.
It's not important.
Yeah, she can't see.
It doesn't fucking matter.
Well, she thought it was, you know, the dad, the single dad coming to. Clearly, he had been coming to visit her a lot. That's why that mattered, I think. So, it was a small thing, but still, I think it's the greater stuff is yet to come. I hope. I really do. I hope for Blumhouse, man, because, dude, it's a match.
Have you not learned anything?
I have. I am holding the match to light the house on fire because this is it, man. If you can't recover with this, it's over. You're going to stick your original titles and it's going to be B movies, man. You're going to be the new Full Moon.
Did you really just say you have hope for Blumhouse?
For this title, Exorcist.
Well, even still, you have hope.
Yeah, dude. Hey, I am. I'm standing by it because I was impressed enough with what they did in that first 40 minutes with this. It could be something great if they do it right. They go all out, man, and really go fucking demon out, dude. We could get something here. And if Linda Blair's involved, that's fucking cool, man. Legacy sequels, that's how you do it. Like that. Come on. Give it to us how we want it. Not like that. It's right down the middle, man. I'm 5. I'm giving it a 5.
Okay, so our discussion did not change because you were at a 5 before the show, correct?
I was.
Your discussion did not change, or our discussion did not change your thought.
I thought the first 40 minutes is that strong.
The first 40 minutes, Jesus Christ!
I love, hey, dude.
Only a third of the movie, man.
All right. It's your ranking.
My score. Go ahead, and I know we're ready for you to.
Good God.
Minus points on this somehow.
I'm just curious if this is going to rate higher than The Resort. That's what I'm on the edge of my seat for that.
Ooh, damn!
I missed him. I was reading the comment.
Rick says before the show I gave it a 7. You guys talked me down to a 5 or a 6. So we worked on Rick a little bit.
Fuck, dude. It's been a bludgeoning. You know, I don't, and I'm not sure why I'm trying to defend it. I
don't either.
I just feel it's just coming, man, from a place where I was like, wow, I really thought this was going to be nothing. And it wasn't. It was a little more than nothing.
Well,
go ahead, baby. The floor is yours.
Unfortunately, like Zag just said, I'm going to give it. No, I can't give it nothing. I've been told.
You can.
No, I've been told multiple times you can't give it a 0.
Have we ever given a 0? I think Colonel gave a 0 to something.
I was told I can't give a 0, even though it should be available.
I don't think I've ever given a 0. I know I've given out some 1s and 2s.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I've never given a 0.
Just to be nice to Zag for that first 40 minutes, I'll give it a point. And there are some original aspects to this that I liked that I think could have made a good movie, but because it was attached to The Exorcist, it's not. And because it's called The Exorcist Believer, it's not. It spits in the fucking name of the goddamn original. And I know there are people that say, well, you can't hold it against the original because times have changed and blah, 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 blah. Yes, you can. Because it has the original's name on it. If it didn't, cool. I'd probably like this movie along the lines that Ziggy did. If it didn't have any Exorcist stuff attached to it whatsoever, it'd probably be a 5 or 6. But for me, I'm giving it a 2. I didn't put the photo in here, but I actually took a picture of me flipping off the movie poster last night when I walked away because I thought that was going to be my score. But yeah, I'll give it a 2. So a 2, 5, and a 4.
And 4, yeah.
This may be the lowest consensus score that we've given in a while since The Resort. What was my score on The Resort? Was that a 1?
Better than The Resort.
I think it was a 1.
Okay.
You know what The Resort had over this movie, though? Beautiful fucking drone shots.
Great.
Not one beautiful drone shot in this whole fucking movie.
Nope.
I thought I checked the drone shot box when I was watching this.
I don't know. It wasn't good enough for me to remember it. It wasn't
right.
a good
Okay.
drone shot. Just
it is a forgettable. A lot of it's forgettable. You're right about that, man. And they need to do much better if they want to try to save this shit.
There you go. Tarek says, see, if it uses the IP, you can certainly judge it against the IP. That's the whole point. Grizzly says, See No Evil is our 0, the only movie we left, and we were at the Dollar Theater. God damn. Yeah, Carrie says, I think I will wait until it comes on my satellite TV provider. And that'll be paying enough for it. Yes.
Not going to take long. Don't worry.
No. Well, that's the thing I hated, because by having to review this movie, we had to give them fucking money and go towards their fucking box office.
And James gives it a 4.
A 4.
A 4. Yeah, not
wrong.
impressed. Not impressed with this film. Not looking forward to what they do with it. Of course, like Colonel said, we will fucking have to go see it. But God damn it, we're gonna move on to something a whole lot fucking better. We're gonna go to Never Hike Alone 2 from Womp Stomp Films and our buddy Vincent DiSanti. 20 years after the last sighting of Jason Voorhees, Crystal Lake resident and former victim Tommy Jarvis still lives with the haunting notion that Jason will one day return. Never Hike Alone 2 picks up right around the end of the 2017 film Never Hike Alone, but even overlaps the previous film and reshoots a vital scene from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Ziggy, I'll start with you. What were your initial thoughts?
Honestly, we set the bar quite high on this one because big fan of Never Hike Alone, big fan of Never Hike in the Snow. We have watched the Ghost Cut again right before. We got to watch the premiere the other night. If you joined us, that was a lot of fun. But so yeah, the bar was set pretty high, and honestly, I have to say I wasn't disappointed, man. This chapter really brings the other ones together. It puts more value, more weight on the other two. I mean, it's just great. It's just great. It's just a great look at Friday the 13th material. Excellent.
All right, Colonel.
Initial thoughts. Here we go, baby. All right. I'm on record. It's no shocker. I am not a fan of fan films. This particular series, I am a fan of. So I was really looking forward to this, and I had high hopes going into it. Like I said, I was in bed when it premiered Friday night because I had to work Saturday. So I didn't get to watch this until actually today because I fell asleep watching it last night. So I had to watch it as soon as I came home from work. No, like I said, I think my expectations were a little high after watching it, but that's not a bad thing because it's still a really good fucking movie. I was just maybe expecting a little bit more, but the fact that it's a fan film, I didn't hold that against it. That was me going to probably saying, my expectations might have been a little bit too high. It's still really fucking good. Really fucking good.
Okay. All right. I think Vincent has pretty much grown before our eyes as a professional filmmaker to be reckoned with. His first effort that we've seen, or that we were privy to see, Never Hike Alone from 2017, literally set the standard for all the fan films after it. He raised the bar back then, and it still hasn't been surpassed until now when he does it himself. The man never expected to spend 7 years of his life or more dedicated to a project that would make zero profit, much less cost him in his personal life. Never Hike Alone 2 is a perfect example of why major studios should expand their horizons and take a chance with independent filmmakers to helm a return to a major franchise. For example, I feel like what David Gordon Green did with the recent Halloween trilogy isn't much more than a series of well-budgeted fan films, rather than a clear example of a canon timeline. But on the other hand, I could easily see what Vincent did with Never Hike Alone, easily sliding into the canon timeline of Friday the 13th. And if he were ever given the chance to write, direct, or produce an actual installment of our beloved franchise, I believe it would be a fantastic modern rebirth of the legend of Jason Voorhees. Those are my initial thoughts. The film begins with a dream or vision featuring Tommy, played by Tom Matthews, talking to a younger version of himself, played by Little Horror Stevie. Did you like the way that started the film, Colonel?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Just no. I mean, because I did like Never Hike in the Snow. I did like that scene where Jason sees himself as a little kid hugging his mother. So this is essentially Tommy's version of that. I mean, so I did dig it. I don't want to say all jokes aside, but man, I would not let my kid get that haircut to be in any film. I'd be like, do we have to? Because that was fucking awful. See, that was not a wig, folks.
Oh no,
No.
No way.
Mommy, they called me dickhead. What does that mean?
This would have been set in 2009. Is that about right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
But no. I thought it was a good way. I mean, it didn't like affect me where I'm going to have some philosophical shit to say about it. It was an interesting way to start the film.
Okay.
In a good way. I dug it.
Okay. What about you, Ziggy?
I dug it, man. Of course, it's the final chapter, Tommy. You know what I mean? That's the look they gave him. So of course.
Oh, sure. No, of course, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
know,
Any nods to the main chapters, yes, and it was very cool. And we saw it in the trailer what happens to him. So I mean, it was very cool and it was great. And then I loved how the shot where he like dives into the water and then he sits up in bed. Boom.
That was good.
Very clever. Yeah,
the smoothness of that really worked. Yeah,
seamless.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the whole thing. It's like this time we do follow Tommy on his journey and his dealing with this, and not no one believing him and stuff. So I mean, it's very good, man. It's you really feel it. It's a good fucking ride. It's an hour long, just over an hour long.
Hour and 12. Yep.
Yeah, 112.
If I had one complaint about Never Hike Alone 2, and I think it would be the overuse of the visions or dream sequences, because there's that one. Sheriff Rick Cologne has one. Diana Hill has one, at least. Kyle has one. Everybody has a fucking dream in this movie. And that's pretty much the one minor flaw that I found in this. There may be a couple more things that I'm like, but that's the only thing.
I felt like that's how, that was the only way they could really get more Jason in there. You know what I mean? A little more Jason, or here and there, because I think that's
right. Well, and Rick mentions it. All Friday films need a dream scene. Sure,
absolutely, but do they need 7? Yeah,
obviously they do.
Hey, but it's like I was locked in for this whole fucking ride. I loved it.
Yeah. Let's see here. People are already rating Never Hike Alone 2 for us here. So looks like Bill says, awesome movie. The wife and I watched all of them. 10 out of 10. Tarek says, Never Hike Alone 2 was pretty fucking good in my opinion. Fun to nitpick, yes, but that's points added. I can't score it yet, but not bad at all. Is there another one up here? Nope. All right. Dr. Smiley has to take off because he says, I'm out for this one. No spoilers for me. Gonna watch it this week. Time to work on my new patient. Dr. Smiley out. Hey, Ziggy, can you read a couple more of these comments real quick? I've got to go get more drink. I'm drinking a little more than I should tonight. I'll be right back.
He's got to pee. Don't let him lie.
He's got to pee. He's going to take a shit, maybe. Michael, yes, 10,000. It was better than some of the big studio films. That's the thing. I mean, and Crank mentioned it. It can really slide right in, and it's pretty good. It looks pretty good. I don't know, Colonel. Do you find it as, could it be canon? Is this film worthy of being canon?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I will still stand by the fact that it is not canon, even though I think the story is good enough to be canon. But it has to be major studio before I consider. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. It just has to be a true Friday the 13th film before it could be canon. But boy, would I be okay with it if this was the end of the Tommy story. I would be perfectly fine with this.
And it was. I mean, it's like there seemed to be a piece there. Although I will say, when they started doing CPR on him, if he would have died right there, I would have been like, perfect. I thought that would have been even more fitting if he would have died there too. But
spoiler, it was not on the screen.
Yeah, sorry. He lives, folks. Hey, if you didn't watch. Well, we already said, if you got to get out if you don't want to know.
Oh, hey, there's Real Dead.
Real Dead.
Welcome to the show, Real Dead. I saw that. I haven't watched it yet, but I think I saw that you guys did a review of Never Hike Alone 2, if I'm not mistaken.
On the list.
Yeah, I'll watch that later. I try not to see anything until after we've done our stuff, but yeah, they give it a 7 out of 10. Christopher wants to know where can these films be seen. Did you do these?
Yeah, they're in the they are in the comments there. FaZe has put the links in, so check it out.
Yep, there you go.
You can watch them on YouTube. So.
Yes, it's all free.
All 3 on there,
and they're no charge.
All right. Overall, the story follows Tommy, who is called to the scene following Never Hike Alone, where Kyle MacLeod has been attacked, but survives facing Jason. Now Tommy needs Kyle's help to finally defeat Jason by destroying what he says. Should we already get to spoilers?
Might as well. Zach already did it.
I kind of dropped one already, but
all right. Well, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, folks. We are going to get into spoilers for this. It is only an hour film, so hour and 12 minutes. So, here we go.
We'll keep it on so people know.
All right. But Tommy needs Kyle's help to destroy what he says is the source of Jason's power, his mother's decapitated head. At first, I wasn't too sure how I felt about that plot point, but it hasn't really been explored before.
Right.
And it makes a little sense as to why it could work. What were your thoughts on that storyline, Colonel?
No, I dug it because, like I said, it was original, and like you said, it made total sense. It's kind of like in part 6, and it plays along with part 6. You know, we have getting back to the water. Da 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 da. Well, okay. Well, his mother's head's still here. Granted, it would be a skull at this point. It's very well, mummified. Why is that music still playing?
Yeah, why is that music still
playing? The spoiler alert. I'm trying to leave it going.
It's on the screen too.
All right.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
No, but it made total sense, and I could believe it that was his connection still to this world, was his mother's head. So, like I said, I really fucking dug it. I thought it was original. It had enough of a tie into 6, like I said about the water and everything else, getting back to the lake. I dug it. I really dug it. Because at first, like I said, reading the synopsis, I'm like, really? But seeing it play out, pretty good fucking idea, man. Pretty good fucking idea.
Okay. One other little nitpick that I'll throw in. I'm not necessarily saying I didn't necessarily like this, but I don't think Jason would keep his mother's fucking head in an igloo cooler. The few times that we have seen it in the movies, it's been on the shrine, and in Never Hike Alone 2, they find it in the bed. I get that, covered up in the bed, but I don't think it would be in a cooler.
Don't forget that it was in a cave once too in the NES game, and it flew around.
That is true. And Ziggy, did you like that storyline with the mother's head being the source of Jason's power?
Here's the thing. Every time they've gone to kill Jason after he was reanimated, of course, it's all just a theory. Nobody really knows. So these things have never really been tried before. So why the fuck not? Go after the head. It makes sense.
Okay.
And
kill the head.
Kill the head, and the rest will fall. So yeah, why not? Why not? So I was kind of like, I don't know, but then when it played out as Colonel said too, the same thing, I was like, okay, I dug the way they did it, so okay, I'll allow it. Go ahead. It's fun. It's worthy.
All right. Let me check a couple comments here because I see Sue. Real Dead says our 7 of 10 was higher than Believer. No shit. I haven't even seen your reviews, but no shit. Bronson says, as a matter of fact, I actually never seen of the Exorcist movies. I hear they're very good. I just wanted to share one of my favorite ones. Oh wait, what are you talking? Did I miss one up here?
Yeah.
Damn it. Oh. I've seen the Exorcist 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it. Not to mention the fact that you're talking to a dead guy. Now, what do you think? You think I'm qualified? Very good. Very good. I love that.
It keeps getting funnier every time I see it.
And it keeps getting funnier every time I see it. All right. Rick says, I don't know if the head had the actual power, but I think Jason thought that for sure. That's a good thought. That's a good possibility. Paula says, I thought the head looked weird. And Real Dead says the same thing. My only issue is the head looked a little cheesy, but understandable for a fan film. Well, keep in mind, it's been at least 5 years since, 25 years since we saw the head in 2 and 3.
So this is why I said it should have been a fucking skull.
So, well, it's maybe that's why he keeps it in the cooler.
Yeah, man. He found the cooler. Those things were built to last back then.
Yeah, maybe so. All right. There's one point in this storyline, though, where Tommy says Kyle got Jason's attention. Like he wandered into his territory, and now Jason was coming to get him, and he would track him down until he killed him. There seems to be a small flaw in that logic, though, because if Jason was coming after Kyle for having wandered into his territory, wouldn't he be coming after Tommy, who's been wandering in and out of that territory for the last 20 years? And why wouldn't Jason actively be tracking him? Do you have any thoughts on that, Ziggy?
Do we acknowledge the part 7 happened and part 8 happened, or he just went into the lake at 6 and he remained there?
I don't know, honestly.
That's what I'm saying. We don't. Some of that matters, you know. So
I would think if this is falling into the timeline,
yeah,
I would say 7 and 8 did happen.
Okay, so that makes me think. Sure, he's forgotten about Tommy because Tommy moved the fuck on wherever he was all that time. Probably getting well, I guess. If you want to do the Packanack thing and the whole what is it, Pinehurst?
Oh yeah,
Asylum, yeah. And then the 6 where he himself revived Jason. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point, but this is the most recent thing. We're just assuming Jason is a short attention span, and there you go. He's after this guy's the latest guy he's seen. That's who he's got to get.
Right. How about you, Colonel? Was that kind of maybe a plot hole that kind of got overlooked, or do you think there's something to explain it there?
Here's the good thing about plot holes. They're always explainable if you make a sequel. So as I think it is something that got overlooked, because you're right. I mean, Tommy's going in and out of that fucking forest. I mean,
yeah. I mean, he gets caught by Rick.
Yeah.
Again, I know what you're doing out here.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe Tommy, he forgot. Like maybe Tommy was immune to that to an extent since he put Jason in the fucking lake. I don't know. It's definitely a big plot hole that I noticed watching the film as well. Again, being a fan film, I'm not going to be as harsh on it as I would say, any other plot holes. But like I said, plot hole, schmot hole, it doesn't matter. Granted, we know there's not going to be a part 3, but if there was, you can fill that hole right back up, man. So I can do the potholes on the highway, just put some fucking blacktop on it, good to fucking go. It's just, I don't know.
All right. Vegan, thanks for tuning in live with us this time. I see your comments on YouTube all the time. We appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in and watching.
Yeah.
He asked, I guess Never Hike Alone 3 will never happen. Here's the thing about that. Never Hike Alone 2 actually includes the original plans for Never Hike Alone 2, 3, and 4. So
right.
Yeah, this was supposed to be the end. I don't think there will be another, at least fan film version like this from Vincent DiSanti. Now,
the animated thing.
The animated thing is going to be included on the Blu-ray, so I'm not necessarily counting that right now. But now, that doesn't necessarily mean that another filmmaker could come along and make a fan film of a fan film.
Wow.
How meta are we gonna get?
Dude.
That's a possibility. Now granted, I would go if I was going to do that. I'm not. I'm not saying this, but if I was going to do that, I would contact Vincent and say, "Hey, I have this idea. Do you mind if I run with it?"
Yeah.
So, and I hope it doesn't have anything to do with Hiker Man 5000. Honestly,
man, you know that motherfucker ain't going no goddamn hikes.
Well, this is a tag at the end of the movie where a guy is talking about taking Kyle's place. For those of you that haven't seen it, it's a throwback to the original where he's ranking the Wessex County Trail, and he says, "I would give this, an intermediate to advanced level hikers. So I don't want to see any of you beginners out there." And he goes, "I'm talking to you, Hiker Man 5000." So That's a throwback, and I loved it. I did fucking love it, but I don't think it was necessarily needed. Real Dead says this movie was better than Ends, no doubt. Well, yeah. Real Dead, Captain Obvious in the house tonight, but I love it.
Yeah, man.
Sparty says, "Where's the sweater? He could have burned it." Good point. Yeah, that could be another source of power.
Man, the moths got to it and just.
Jason, mother's talking to you. He beheaded him.
Rick says.
Oh, sorry.
Rick says Tommy beat him maybe twice, so maybe he's afraid of him. Maybe that's why he's. I don't buy that.
Yeah, I don't buy that after the reshoot.
Yeah. Okay, Tarek says, fact that a requisite debate is Jason's attention span is unnaturally funny to me, just saying.
I'm just saying, man. We don't know.
Okay, yeah, okay.
We just don't know.
All right. I will say this. It was really nice seeing Tom, Vinny, and then even Tracy Savage and Larry Zerner returning to the franchise. Some in the same role. How did you feel about the acting in Never Hike Alone 2, Colonel?
Oh, this is where I get a little mean. I'll be honest. I thought the Vinny was fucking awful. I really did. Vinny.
Oh, Vincent?
Yeah.
No.
Vinny.
Really?
Yeah, I thought he was awful, dude. I just thought he... Again, it's not like he fucking did an amazing job in fucking 6. So I'm not trying to be mean. I just thought his acting was pretty bad, given the role he had as a pretty important fucking character. It was bad. And everybody else was good. I mean, again, it's a fan film. I'm not expecting Oscar-worthy fucking performances here.
It probably.
I thought Andrew did a really good job as Kyle. Like as the acting goes, I put him at the top. And then probably Tom, and then down to fucking Vinny.
Okay. I will say this about Vinny Guasapero's role. I didn't necessarily buy his hero moment, where he comes out and he's like, I got an idea, and Tommy Jarvis is like, you don't know what you're messing with, and he goes, I beg to differ, or whatever he says, he
doesn't know what he's messing with.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's messing with. However he says it.
I just love
didn't buy that.
I just love the fact like he never shot a gun before. He was the one that.
Yeah.
Like fucking.
Well, and that was. I mean, we talked about some of the bad CGI in Exorcist Believer. That wasn't the best of the CGI work in that scene either. Because
but you had good squibs to go with that bad CGI, so it equaled itself out.
Not much.
Oh, dude, when
that was all CGI too.
I know you
bang. 2 squibs that was real. I counted.
Okay.
You get a real one, you get like 2 fake ones. You get a real one, you got 2 more fake ones.
Oh man.
The final bang we got when it looked like he was down and he gave him the headshot.
That was pretty badass.
That was badass.
That was good.
Yeah.
But that was one thing. I did not buy Rick Cologne's hero moment. And I thought there were a few weak moments from some of the other actors, but overall, I thought they held their own. Yeah. And speaking of least favorites, I would say probably my least favorite was the hospital security guard. That was pretty just bland. Ziggy, what were your peaks and valleys of the acting in this?
That guy probably paid for one of his supporting roles, you know.
It may have been.
He might have been a backer. But it was all right, man. I honestly, the one nurse that came back to work was kind of flat, I thought. And I do think Rick's, some of his timing was a little bit off. Not necessarily the acting. It was believable, but sometimes the timing wasn't quite right. But, dude, I loved it when him and Tommy had the exchange and they're both giving each other the bird. And he seemed genuine when he finally was like, holy shit, this guy's for real. Tommy, I'm sorry, man. I dug that. It worked. But outside of him taking that last ditch effort, the hero moment kind of was like, oh, I mean, you had probably one day with him. You know how it is, 2-3 days. So it was fine. I mean, I'm sad he died. I mean, I was like, damn, we're losing. They were all getting killed off, even in the fucking the fan films.
All right. Tarek says, I wasn't big on a lot of the dialogue delivery. Yeah, but that's small beans. Yeah. So, like I said, there were some weak moments that could have been reshot, maybe, but they were in a hurry.
It was good.
BK says, oh, shit, you guys cannot be bad-mouthing people acting.
I don't know what he's talking about, man.
Are you guys? I don't
know.
I don't know. I'm just a talking head here. Yeah, Rick says laser scopes and he couldn't hit him in the head. Yeah, I was.
You bang.
I'm assuming the dots either didn't look good on the mask, or if that was special effects didn't look good on the mask, and that's why they went with the chest. Right. That's the only reason I could think about that. But we're losing Lorena. Good night, Lorena.
Yeah. Good night. Oh.
Real Dead said, yeah. We're gonna talk about that here. Real Dead says, who played the sheriff that was in the earlier Friday the 13th? Yeah, that's Vinny Guastafaro. He was Deputy Rick Cologne,
right?
Otherwise known as Rick the Dick in Friday the 13th Part 6.
That's where the bang came from. That's that whole line.
Well, I think he's talking about Sheriff Garris.
Sheriff Garris. Yeah, he got folded in half.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy was all right.
They had a picture of him in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Sparty even says it. Remember where the red dot goes.
Yep.
You bang.
You bang.
You bang. I remember I had the novel.
I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Am I the only one that found it so funny that all of them had laser sights on their fucking guns?
Oh, no.
Rick was like, so we're putting laser sights on these guns, guys.
On all of them.
We're making it mandatory. Everybody has one.
Yeah, I thought that was fucking funny, man.
I liked it. Yeah,
Vincent for that one. I was like, that's good. That was fucking good.
Sheriff Rick, man.
I thought the effects were pretty well done. Simple yet brutal. What were some of your favorite effects in the film? Ziggy.
Wow, man. I mean, I honestly, the fucking ones that worked the best. I mean, it didn't even look the best, but when Tommy was getting shanked with the arrows, dude, I can't imagine a worse pain, really, with a blunt object like that, a sharp object. Getting shot with a fucking arrow has to suck the big dick. And that's the ones that were making me cringe the most, were the arrow shot.
That's a great way to put it, I guess.
Yes. The big one.
Yeah. How about you, Colonel? What was one of your some of your favorite special effects moments?
Well, one, like I said, Real Dead mentioned it. Of course, fucking Sheriff Cologne getting his fucking head smashed.
Oh,
the head smash was great. Yep. And
I thought it looked pretty bad in a good way. They redeemed themselves with the guts. When the fat nurse tried to run by Jason, he just fucking grabbed her and come here and just slit her fucking stomach open with that fucking sickle.
That was one of mine. Yep. that was one of mine, and it was more of a stunt. But I like when Jason the ambulance takes off at first, and Jason catches up, and Tommy gives him a shot with a shotgun, and he goes flying back. I thought that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty fucking good, dude.
Intestines are making a comeback, man. It's a good thing, you know. With
That's a good thing.
Movies, and it was well done too. It looked like, yep, that looks. It's what I think what an intestine would look like, splashing out of a freshly cut fucking stomach.
Right. Yeah, that was Vincent Real Dead, or Vinny Guastafaro, not to be confused with Vinny or Vincent DiSanti. Kevin Dustin is here. What's up, Kevin? I think It's Me, Billy is the only other fan film to match the first Never Hike Alone in terms of production value and studio quality. He's got a second part here. I have a feeling once It's Me, Billy 2 wraps up, the Black Christmas series, both It's Me, Billy and Never Hike Alone will remain supreme with fan films.
I agree completely.
And you and I are right there together on that. I think all of us really.
Yeah, and even Dylan's New Nightmare, it warrants a little. I don't know if it's worthy of taking the title from any of those two, but yeah, but definitely you're right. We are anticipating that one too. It's Me, Billy Part 2. We're already on it. We're backing it. So yes, bringing that shit on, man. That was fantastic. Quality.
Yep. And Kevin also says my favorite kill was Rick, even though it made me sad. Yeah. I would have liked to have seen him make it, but
I just loved the bang, and I was like, ooh, it made me go, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he had his hero moment for a moment, and then
no.
Dreams were crushed, along with a skull. Tarek says, one thing I really liked in Never Hike Alone 2 was the editing. I don't think any of the cuts felt jarring. It was smooth, especially the opening montage. That was pro level.
Yeah, when he dove into that water.
Dude, that's one of my favorite things about Never Hike Alone. Again, that's another. I hate fan films because I think they look shitty. With the exceptions of Never Hike Alone. I was throwing It's Me, Billy as well, but we're talking about Never Hike Alone. It fucking crystal clear. I mean, it looks fucking professional. It's fucking great. Like, you can't, other than, I guess, the footsteps in part 1, the sound was a little off on that. But that's so fucking minor. Like, the sound's always fucking on. It always looks great. It looks like a real film.
Somebody mentioned that up here. There it is. Yeah, Bill mentioned it. He said, at least the footsteps were quiet this time. That was so funny. All right, let's talk. Well, let's hit these questions real quick. Vegan wants to know, what's your opinion on The Mask in part 2? I watched it with 4 people and they all agreed the mask looks like a dollar store Jason mask. No, that's an original design.
Yeah.
He wanted something different. He wanted no chevrons. He wanted it a little more round rather than oblong, I think.
The ghost mask. Yeah, it's grown.
He wanted a pretty original design for Jason because
he has dark eyes, man. That's where I like it. And you got to have the dark, eyeless, fucking ominous, and that's all there. So I know what you're saying, but I like it though. I like that ghost. I like it.
Yeah, no, I dug The Mask. I mean, yes, it's different, but like I said, you don't want to risk getting sued.
Yeah, you're playing with fire doing these, so
yeah. So I mean, you come up with the original design. I thought he did a great job. I almost zagged the dark blackless abyss in those fucking eyes. Fucking works. Like it works. I like it.
Yep.
I liked it even better with the axe mark in it.
Yeah.
Sparty wants to know, was that the paramedic, the guy from part 4, Axel? No. Not the same actor, but supposed to be the same character, I think.
Wow, that's a throwback.
Well, no, because that guy's dead.
Yeah, he didn't.
I know he named him after Axel from
part 4. Yeah, it was just a throwback.
That's a way back throwback to like one of the first times we've ever had Vinny on the show. We talked about that.
Yep. And dang it, Bill says, I like the axe to the face in Never Hike Alone or Never Hike in the Snow.
Oh,
yes,
man.
that was a great one.
So good, with the blood all over the snow like that. It was good. Well, what'd you guys think?
All right.
What'd you think of the final battle, Tommy and Jason? You know?
That was my next question. Basically, the ending and the final battle kind of evoked some Halloween H2O feelings for me, as I mentioned when we watched it. But it works. How did you feel about the ending of this film, Colonel?
No, I thought it was pretty solid, man. I enjoyed it. I liked the teamwork. I liked talking about a hero moment. It's not as good as fucking Vinny's. Not as good as Sheriff's. But Kyle taking it upon himself to kind of save the day, distract Jason, get him out of there so they can do what they needed to do.
Hey,
very H2O like, very H2O like, but it was done well. I mean, because Jason was distracted, like his world literally just fucking ended.
Well, and it could also be a throwback to the original Friday the 13th, where Pamela gets beheaded.
Exactly.
So,
that's where I thought he went for myself.
Especially since the mother's head was such a, even one of the taglines in one of the trailers says, it all comes to a head.
Yeah.
Right.
And we all, thought that meant, Jarvis and Jason meeting up. But I think it was a good play on words for that.
Clever bastard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about you? What did you think?
What did I think? The battle was good. But I wanted to check it because, I'm seeing a lot of chatter out there. And it's like, well, it looks like this. They did this in another film. So I went and looked at a lot of these other fan films to check it out. There's similarities to all these, yes. But, I mean, you're working with the same source material here. So I think it's going to happen no matter what.
Sure.
By a hair, I think the way they handled the end of Vengeance 2 was a little bit more, you know what I mean? It worked a little bit slightly better than what we got here. Although I love it. I love this Never Hike Alone 2 ending.
You mean the final battle?
When he actually flipped back into, it was him versus CJ, And
yeah.
I thought that was just a little more impactful for me.
That's a little more fan servicey. I think.
Agreed. But I
think Never Hike Alone kept it more. Yeah, no, and that's cool.
Yeah. And
I think Never Hike Alone kept it a little more grounded in reality.
For sure. And it's just a hair better. That's what I was thinking out of it. But it is totally different. So I mean, aside from the beheading part, But yeah, I dig it, man. It's a nice bow on it. Again, I think it would have been better had Tommy, as soon as he finished him off, dropped dead. Like, that's it. Your mission's over.
Well, and Grizzly's been saying that too a couple times in here. He says, still say it would have been better if both Jason and Tommy died in the end. Otherwise, it was good. Bill says, I agree. Tarek says, agreed, Michael. I would have preferred the ultimate sacrifice. That would have been a better impact. So,
I believe Rick said the same thing earlier. I could be wrong though.
I think so too. Yeah, there were a few people that said that. So, and that would have been powerful, but that would have been kind of cool, you cut from that shot where Diana's, giving, CPR to Tommy, and then you cut to
like a
funeral scene or just a graveyard scene with his tombstone there.
Oh, there's a minor complaint for me is I thought too many people survived. No, Jason ran through the fucking side characters. He ran through the NPCs essentially, but the main, the main characters, Rick's the only one that got taken out.
Yeah,
there were too many survivors. So it's just like,
yeah, because Diana lives, Tommy lives, and Kyle lives.
Yeah.
So, that's a good point. But there's sometimes at least two that survive several of the other ones, Ginny and Paul, maybe.
Well,
no, Paul's dead.
I have to err with Colonel on that, on the side of that. I think Paul is fucking dead as fuck, especially because I got documentation that says such over here.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But
endings
again,
can be
have 3
retconned.
survive Friday the 13th Part 5.
Mm.
So 3 is possible. I just thought for this, such a small cast, more should have died. That's all.
You had 2 survive Part 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you had 2 survive Part 2 because Ted.
Yeah, those guys that were and the NPCs there.
The NPCs
went with Ted. They were at the After Hours Club.
So there's a handful. And Part 7 has 2 at least.
Mm-hmm.
If they were there, they would have got them.
But I like the ending. I like I said, I'm still haven't wrapped my head around the whole head being the power. But
well, again, just
it could be a source.
Just a
could
theory.
be a source of it. Yeah, but it works for this. It works for this series.
Well, just remember, so the source of power can always change.
Yeah.
I mean, The Undertaker from like fucking 1991 until like 97, he has power from the urn, dude.
The urn.
But eventually he got away from the urn. He was all right. He's still powerful. He was still in his own fucking ministry, for Christ's sake.
Grizzly has another point about the end. You did not need the bubbles at the end, just the body and the head, and that would have been enough as well.
Oh, that was fucking beautiful.
I think that was great, though. That was just nice. That was a little wink.
He just to say, I ain't killing them, guys. Come on, he's there. I was okay with that.
Yeah. All righty. Final thoughts and ranking, Colonel.
Final thought, like I said, I thought Vincent did it again, man. He made a good professional fan film. Like I said, looked fucking great. I dug the story. My nitpicks are fucking minor again. Yeah. It's a fucking fan film. So again, I'm not going to shit on it. Even though I do shit on these quite a bit. I can't shit on Never Hike Alone.
It's unshittable.
Even with the H2O ending, at least we didn't have any surprise guests. It was a nice, clean-cut ending. We got it. He told his story. He did a great fucking job. Whew, ranking, though. Oh, God.
Well, before you get to your ranking, let me ask you this. What's the highest rating that you give a Friday the 13th film? And which film is it?
Oh, shit.
Fuck, a highest rating?
That's hard, man.
On the spot? You're a dick, dude. Not giving me time to think. I guess my highest rated would probably be 4.
Okay.
If I had to rank it overall as a horror movie, especially watching it now, it is a little fucking cheesier now than it was when I was a kid. I'd still probably give it like a solid 8.5 to a 9 because I absolutely fucking love it.
Okay. Continue with your thoughts on Never Hike Alone 2 now. That's what I was just curious.
You just threw me the fuck off, dude.
I know.
I love 4. Like, honestly, it's probably a little too high for fucking any Friday the 13th movie to give it a fucking 9. But I love it.
No, it's not. Okay, I give 2 a 10.
All right, well, there we go. That makes me feel better. Because honestly, I'd probably give Part 5 a fucking like an 8.5. So I'm pretty high, and 6 would probably be like an 8.5. I'm pretty high on those 3.
4 would be a 9 for me as well. 6 would probably be 8.5. 5 would be 7.5, 8, somewhere in there.
You guys don't love it as much as I do.
Right, but I'm just saying, yeah, my Friday the 13th rankings are fairly high.
Okay, so like, goddamn. So, as far as fan films go, again, this was graded on a curve. If it was a Paramount film, or a New Line Cinema film, I'd be bitching a little more about the acting. I'd be bitching a little bit more about the CGI. Sure. But as far as fan films go, dude, I really dug this. I wanted to give it like an 8.
Okay.
I really fucking liked where Vinny went with this. Even with me in my mind, when he's like, "Oh, we're going to see him go to," this is a few years ago when we had him on, or about a year ago now, or 2. Oh, we're going to see him go into town. We're going to see him go here. Yes, he got there. I can't hold it against Vincent that in my head I was thinking something a little bit bigger,
a little grander.
Yeah,
same here. Yeah. All right, Ziggy, what would be the highest ranking Friday the 13th on your list, and what ranking would you give it first?
It would be the final chapter for sure, and a 7.5 or 8. I'll say 8. I'll go with 8. 8.
All right. And continue your final thoughts and ranking of Never Hike Alone 2.
It was a long time coming, and he had problems. He had to reshoot move things around. All kinds of shit happened, and it for a while there, it seemed we weren't going to get this movie at all. It was going to be off the table. That's a whole other fucking story. Yeah,
there were some things. Yeah,
there was some shit that went down, but we got it. It worked out, and I'm so glad they did it because it's absolutely if you can put them all together and you got the time, it's going to be an hour and a half, maybe an hour 40, hour 45 minutes now.
If you put Never Hike in the Snow, Never Hike Alone, and Never Hike Alone 2, it'd be about 2.5 hours.
About 2.5 hours to get through the whole thing, and it's brilliant. It's worth it. As Friday the 13th fans, we are absolutely lucky to have this. I mean, it's that good. It's that fucking good, man. Everybody wins if you're into this. I don't know what else to say about it, man. I mean, it's just like one little nitpick. It's at the end. It's not even that big a deal. It's still so satisfying. Yeah, I think I gave the original Never Hike Alone an 8, so I got to go higher here, man. So I'm going 8.5, 8.5 for it.
All right,
for sure.
Well, like I mentioned, my highest ranking Friday the 13th film, real film, would be 2, and I give it a 10 just because. Now, part of that is nostalgia. So. Because I watched that movie probably 1,000 times in my teens. I love it. I've loved this series. I love there's parts of every film that I enjoy. I may not like the entire movie. I may not like some of the storyline, but I like parts of all the show, all the series. Never Hike Alone is the same. And I'm not kidding. I could easily see this story being redone in a way if Vinny were given a chance to produce a canon film. Wow. I could see elements of this being done again in a canon film. Like we've always said, he set the bar, and only a few have come close to it. Someone mentioned It's Me, Billy being one of them.
Yeah.
Ziggy, you mentioned Dylan's New Nightmare. Yeah, on quality, or like technical quality and look, absolutely. I don't think the story of Dylan's New Nightmare and the script was that great.
Well, just to wear it just wasn't enough. It needed to be a little longer, I think.
Well, it needed to be longer, but even for the 20-something minutes that it still repeated itself a lot. Like there was a lot of like fluff.
It was just cool to see a Freddy cutting it up again. That was pretty good.
Well, and it's proof that you can do a Freddy without Robert Englund.
You can do it.
It can be done. Anyway, we diverge there. And also, I know part of my ranking possibly has to do with the fact that we know Vinny, and he's a friend of the show. He's been on our show multiple times. We've, consulted him with different things that we wanted to talk about or do. And he's been someone that we can reach out to and say, hey, what would you think about this? Or, we're considering going to this convention. What are some of the good spots to hit around there? Blah, 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 blah. He's a great guy, as are several of the people that do fan films. But this one, sorry to the other fan film producers and directors. This is the top. Some of you guys are pretty fucking close. Yeah. This is the top, man.
I said it before. And these are the ones. These are the ones that all others will be measured by. It just is. It just is.
Yep. And I'm gonna give Never Hike Alone 2 an 8.5 as well, because it would fit right in there among, under 2, 4, 6, probably 8, or 2, 4, 6, and then probably this. Or maybe 5 and then this. I think it would be in the top 5 of Friday the 13th films. And I'm considering like all of it, like the entire story is one big movie, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean that's it for sure. Yeah. Wow, 8.5, 8.5, and an 8. That's strong.
That's pretty strong. And for a fan film, that's pretty strong. Would you grade it a little differently if it were canon film? Colonel, you said you would.
Huh.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I think you have to. I think you have to put it on the
what would you give it if it was a canon film?
I couldn't do that. It's not fair because, like I said, I'm going to be judging the acting more harshly.
Can't do that. Yeah. I can share this other little bit of information we have on.
There's Corbin. What's up, Corbin?
Hey,
what's up? Luke is here late.
What's up, Luke? 3 hours too late. You're all right.
3 hours too late.
This is something. You got any more?
I'm looking, but
yeah, this is like you actually, if you were been watching the show for several years, probably 3 years ago, I would say for this one. Vincent came on, was a guest, and he goes, "This is how I work, man. We're just like, come on, let's get some ideas." We started brainstorming, and we came up with something, and we threw it at him, and then he later fired back and said, "Hey guys, check it out."
Oh yeah.
This is what he sent. Like we came up with Jimmy and the Dead Fucks, right on the air. It's on the show. You can see it.
Yeah, and we talked about being a band that was playing or something.
And you can see some of the other ones. The Damn Enchiladas.
Right. Well, End It All is actually a band that played one of the songs in the Never Hike Alone 2.
Everything there ties it into something with Friday the 13th.
Right. That's pretty funny, though.
Yeah, we didn't see it in the film, the final cut there, but I mean, it's just
it probably
he
just
sent that to us like years ago and said you can't say nothing. And we were like, oh, we'll say nothing, but now it's out. We can say it. There it is. The flyers we helped create and then made the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
Well,
and I don't know.
It's all right. The fact that flyers are even fucking made.
Yeah, and he made it. We didn't make that shit. He made that shit.
Yeah, he made
those.
That's
what I'm saying. Yeah, I know he did. That's the fact that they even did that. It's cool enough with me.
Cool that was awesome. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm keeping it. Shit, I'm gonna print out a set of those and just put them up on the wall for the hell of it.
All right, Grizzly wants a shirt check. So
shirt check,
Colonel. What do you got on tonight?
Fucking nothing special. Just a long sleeve tee. The Halloween 3 cover. It's cold in this house. I refuse to turn on the fucking heat. So we're just wearing layers. It's not cold enough for the heat yet.
All right, Ziggy, what do you got?
I have the Fulci, baby. It's zombie and the eye trauma, of course. Check that out.
Nice.
Very nice.
That's a Paul Bearer press. We love Paul Bearer press.
Yep. And I've got the DCS exclusive Hearst Cruise.
Yes. Oh, look at that bad boy.
Yeah. So
quiet stroll through the park.
Yep. This is available on our website, so you can go and get one right meow.
It looks good on black. It looks good on purple. It looks good on red. I've seen it on all of them. And
you know what, folks? And if you're watching, it'll look even better on you. So be sure to go to our web store. Check it out.
Damn, Colonel, that was fucking smooth as fucking shit. Yeah.
Very nice. Yep, there you go. Tarek says Zag's shirt wins the night for me. Fuck. What the hell? Now we're challenging shirts on every week?
People
love a t-shirt contest again. Fuck.
We've gotten so many entries and we just never did anything with them, I mean, it's been going on. This is one of them. This was going to be my entry the one year. For one we never did. So thanks.
Yeah. Bill, we're working on some new stuff. There's a lot of things working behind the scenes right now. Can't really get into it, but
man, sit tight, man. Just wait.
We're trying, man. It's taken a little longer than we
almost.
It's almost here.
Almost.
Yeah.
If I'm saying almost, it's true because Zag says almost about fucking everything.
Almost.
All right. Couple more comments and then we'll wrap this up. Kevin says, I think to be fair with It's Me, Billy, it's cut from a different cloth of storytelling than the Never Hike Alone films. Of course, It's Me, Billy is more psychological horror, whereas Never Hike Alone is a slasher. Yeah.
Fair enough.
No doubt, man.
Just the quality of the two teams that made both films, though. We've seen behind the scenes. We've had both of them on to talk to them in depth, and we just believe in their vision and their ability to execute on it. So, absolutely.
And both are, you know, they do it the professional route, you know. They get the real McCoys to come on to help with their films. It's not a couple of assholes shooting a fan film in their backyard.
Yep.
You know, and
using
that
light.
Their funny friend that or the person that they think is funny that isn't really all that funny. Kevin also says, regardless what It's Me, Billy, and Never Hike Alone films have done for their respected fandom and franchises is remarkable. I hope both Vinny, Bruce, and Dave all get their shot in the limelight. Yes, agreed. And that was one of the things that we were saying earlier.
We're so lucky just to have these guys are willing to bust their fucking asses like that for nothing, essentially. I mean, just a little bit of nothing, you know. If they can get some of their dough back on the back end selling, you know, Blu-rays or T-shirts or something, God bless them.
Right. Grizzly says, how about waterproof? No, my shirts are not waterproof, as we found out in New Mexico recently.
That's right. But
Grizzly,
I got waterproof.
But they are pushing.
Is there no footage of this? I'm honestly, I'm a little hurt and shocked that nobody whipped out a camera and recorded this. And why don't we have it yet?
It did not. No, there were no cameras out. It was one of those moments where somebody said something ridiculous and Bill had just taken a drink and he's sitting right next to me and he just looks at me and goes, and I'm like, and I think it was in mid sentence at the time too. I was like, and so I was just like, what happened?
Yes, where is the footage?
No footage. But it was hysterical as hell. It was so funny. Knight Rider, welcome to the show, man. He says, what about Hiker Man 5000 in the movie after the credits kind of left things open for a part 3, maybe? No. I love the callback. We mentioned it earlier. I love the callback, but and like I said a little bit ago, who knows if another filmmaker or one, you know, up and coming filmmaker comes along and says, hey, I want to continue where Never Hike Alone 2 ended. Vincent, do I have your blessing? Perhaps that could happen. You know, Tarek says, haven't seen the other 2 yet, but Never Hike Alone 2's length is perfect. 2, just around an hour is exactly where you need to be on a YouTube feature.
Yep.
They're, if you cram them all together, like I said, I think it's about 2.5 hours. So.
And one of them's a 5-minute music video. So
right. A couple more here. Kevin says, I think Dylan's New Nightmare was okay, but the story felt very unfinished. It felt almost too much of a concept piece. That's exactly what it was. And
longer. And it was just, it was a nice to see Freddy in action, though. That's what all that was about, to showcase that maybe they've got something else working.
I'm pretty sure there's more to that story that hopefully has been written. But I don't know if we're ever going to get that again, because I have a feeling Dave and Bruce are going to finish It's Me, Billy 2. And they've already alluded. They've got some things that they're working on. And I think something's already happening for them. I'll just say that. That's all I can say. Kevin says, wasn't that Dave McRae's voice as Hiker Man 5000 or something? He was the voice of the hype man. Like, you know, every time Hiker Man 5000 would say something, there'd be this, oh yeah, in the background or something like that. That was Dave McRae. So, which I thought was hysterical. And that's it. I'm done with the comments. We got to get out of here.
We're way over tonight.
We're gonna do a fucking pumpkin.
Yep. One last time, I got to thank our members, our final girls and guys, Chris, Lorena, Tyrone, our Crazy Ralphs, Rick and Raymond, and our camp counselors, 42nd Street Pete, Corey, Luke, Michigan Dave, S. Michael, Stacy Lynn, Orlando, Patricia, and JJ. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good train.
Yeah.
What's the scale for going overtime on this show? Oh,
dude, right. Yeah, I was just being on the show. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's right. And of course, special thanks to our associate producer, FaZe. FaZe, Any last thoughts for the night before I send it over to these guys to send them out for the night? All right, great. All right, Colonel, send them out for the night.
Thanks for joining us, guys. It was a fun night. I actually enjoy talking about Believer because it was fun to actually finally have a chance to fucking shit on it with my brothers in crime here. And fucking Never Hike Alone too, because like I said, it premiered at 10 p.m. Eastern. My ass was in fucking bed. And, it premiered on Friday the 13th. I really hope you guys watch some Friday the 13th films to celebrate the holiday, and particularly part 3. Just saying. So don't get sick. Wash your dick. And don't smell like a Scuba Steve. Use Summer's Eve, because you will want to be here next Monday.
Oh, next Monday, baby.
Oh, baby.
I'm just going to tell him, man.
Go ahead.
Let me tell him, man. Friday the 13th fans rejoice and take a knee as we bask in the glory of Cast from Friday the 13th, Part 3 in 3D. So in 2D, you will see Crank.
I thought you were going to tell him. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought you were going to tell him. Come on.
Yeah.
That's when I want to call him Mitch, but he's not Mitch in the movie.
David Kateems.
Yeah, David Kateems.
And Tracy Savage.
And Tracy Savage. Yes, they played one. He was like the Chong-looking guy in Part 3 in the van, the ones that were getting all stoned, the hippies. And then she was the pregnant girlfriend in the movie. And then we had Larry Zerner. He's going on vacation, so he's going to catch us another time. But we're still going to rock it out, man, and get into some Friday the 13th Part 3 history. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. This is going to be a fun one again.
Now, I do want to say...
There's a lot we can talk about with them.
I do want to say Larry acted his ass off in Never Hike Alone 2 compared to fucking Part 3.
That's true.
He did a really good fucking job.
That's true. You're right. You're right.
He did, I thought he did okay in Part 3. It wasn't great, but...
You felt bad for him.
Yeah.
You wanted to see him get his noodle fucking wet. He needed to get his candle lit. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
That's not the way you go about it. Get about it.
Anyway, gang, that's it. That's our show for the night. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Like Ziggy said, Friday the 13th, Part 3 cast members coming on next Monday. And then the following Monday, the day before Halloween, October 30th, we will have Jordan Jonas, a magician from the New Mexico area, will be joining us and doing a few tricks.
He's
talking
promised
about his magic career.
Magic tricks live on the air. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. He's not involving us, whatever it is. It's going to be a trip. I can't wait to see what's going on.
I have no idea. And hopefully next week, we have a big announcement to drop. So
next week.
Big. So for the Colonel, for Zigzag, for the Phase, this is Red Crank saying DCS out. We appreciate you guys watching and have a great night. Woo!
Rock and roll! 6 o'clock already, it was just in the middle of a dream. I was kissing Valentino by a crystal blue Italian stream. But I can't be late, cause then I guess I just won't get paid. These are the days when you wish your bed was already made. It's just another manic Monday. I wish it was Sunday, cause that's my fun day. I don't have to run day. It's just another manic Monday. I wish it was Sunday, cause that's my fun day. It's just another manic Monday.
Ah, the French